Hello, everyone. Welcome to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm here tonight with Tiger58. And whoopsie. wouldn't be a Style Esports cats with just a little bit of scuff. So let me go ahead and fix up that draft law link for y'all, because that's not the draft law we're taking a look at right now. Here we go. That's the one we should be looking at. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's see if it goes. Eh,
All right.
Hey, okay, there we go. Hey. Hello, everybody. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined tonight by Tiger58, and we are ready to get these two teams ready to fight with them. Some incredibly long names. Team Death Knight Amethyst is taking on Esports Cap's UQTR Academy. Both these folks are looking at we've got some gold folks back and forth here. We already have some powerful picks coming out. Tiger, are you excited?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one. Always exciting to see some style esports going on. Week 2 here, pretty early on in the season. And we can see already in the draft that the misfortune priority is going to be with us today. Team Death Knight Amethyst picking that one up on the first pick.
Yeah, I mean, Misfortune has been very powerful these past couple of patches. Has a whole is she's insanely easy to build around. She's not super complex on execution. So, I mean, when you have such powerful things in your toolkit, Misfortune is such an easy first pick here, especially because a lot of folks like locking in their AD carry support duo first in the first half here. But it looks like Team Death Knight Amethyst has opted for their AD carry, their bot, and their jungler here. Whereas UQTR here on the Renata Glask, Kennen and Vi here not going only to lock in the support half of their bottom lane here.
Yeah, I think that they're looking to find some pretty big picks here at UQTR. They've got some nice team fight ultimates with the Renata and Kennen, and then Vi is pretty strong in the early game, so we'll see if they get a mid laner that can maybe roam alongside the Vi. I'd like to see something like an Ari potentially, or a Twisted Fate. I think that those picks would really help set up the early game and get into those mid game team fights with an advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're really seeing some strong team fighting on both ends here, and both of them are looking to be kind of 5v5 comps here. The only thing missing, right, was like is to next see another like pretty big ultimate out of UQTR here. Um Having that 80 carry available is gonna be really important. I just want to see what it is, because like if you pick Ken and Renata Glask, I feel like there's just a lot of room for you to just go wild with some sort of big AoE DPS. And, Kennen might be that, but, there's also like Jinx could be available, the old Zeri build. But Ezreal could do that. Ezreal is definitely good at taking advantage of those kind of AoE situations, especially with that ultimate as well. There's going to be a whole lot of burst damage in these team fights, especially with that lock in here.
Yeah, what that tells me is that UQTR are kind of giving up some of the strength in the bot lane. I think up against a Misfortune, that's going to be a hard lane no matter what. It's probably going to be like a Nautilus or an Amumu. Obviously, the Amumu ban makes a lot of sense with the Misfortune pickup,
Hmm.
actually. So probably Nautilus or Leona coming in for TDK. They're going to pick up the Shen. I
Yeah.
wonder if that's Shen support.
So I have a bit of insider information here. So did a bit of digging. Um, and while this is 100% a support Shen, 100% support Shen here. And the way I know that is because Young Broke Boy, the support for Team Death Knight Amethyst, has been spamming this champion in support role over and over again. Right? So we are probably going to see a support Shen this time around. He likes taking the Iron Locket Solari and then going full tank afterwards. I personally think that should be that you should at least have a redemption in there, but that's just me. This is a support Shen to go with the Misfortune, and then there's a Galio to back up the Hecarim and the Camille. They put all of their eggs into the Misfortune basket here, but I think they they really have a good setup here for sure.
Yeah, one weakness that I see is that there's not a lot of magic damage coming out of TDK's comp. They could fall, if they do fall behind, they could run into the problem of not being able to do any damage, especially if you have like a Swain frontline drain tanking with some armor. Like the Zonia's is gonna feel really good this game on the Swain. Zonia is also a good item on Kennen, so we might see it some. I know that the stopwatch has been nerfed, so it's been nice to have the stopwatch outside of the meta, but we could still see some Zonias here bringing some of that back around.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is the stopwatch, like you said. I still think is going to be really good on Swain, regardless. Like, I think you're right. We're probably still going to see the stopwatch on Kennen and the stopwatch on Swain because those are just two champions that are just so good with the stopwatch that it just doesn't feel right to not have that. So really, really cool to use that here. Is this is really going to be an interesting play for them.
Yeah, early on, it looks to me like TDK have assembled kind of a very strong synergistic squad. I mean, Shen, Galio, and Camille all do the pick game really well. Like, once Camille can get onto someone, then Galio and Shen can appear out of nowhere and join the fray. So that's going to be something that UQTR really has to watch out for in this matchup. They do have some good counter options, but they won't be able to make the same cross map plays.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, luckily for both teams, I feel like they both a lot of cross map plays here between the Swain and the Ezreal on UQTR, and between the heroic entrance for Galio as well. I think that's kind of the big thing for me is that with this Galio in the mid lane here, he can build into damage, and I think that's perfectly fine for him to do this time around. I mean, they have so many frontliners. They have Camille, they have Hecarim, they have Shen. If Galio just decides to go into a proto belt and like, you know, maybe some like more like just a bunch of damage items afterwards, I feel like you're perfectly fine like with that, right?
Yeah, that could work out well, and that could kind of reduce some of the problems. I still think that when Galio does build an AP variety, it still is not like high-end AP DPS, so that they still will have to be careful not to fall behind. But I do think that the TDK comp is going to be really strong here, and it will be interesting to see whether they focus around the top side or the bot side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Certainly, it's certainly interesting as I whoopsie. Oh no. I may have messed
What's
up again.
happened now?
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right, we won't
Don't worry
worry
about it.
about it.
Keep going. Keep talking. I might have messed something up on stream, but it's
All right.
something really small.
Well, looking at the side of UQTR, I definitely think that if they can get to objectives first, they're going to be in good position. We'll have to watch Alceral, see if any big flanks can come in for the Kennen, big slicing maelstroms in the back line that could really throw off the fight that we want to be seeing come here from TDK. So warding is going to be important for both teams. Always is. Warding always important, but knowledge going up to objectives is going to be, I think, bigger in this game than it is in some. I think that there's going to be some potential fighting in the early games, but in the mid game, I think that's where it'll really take off and escalate between these two squads. So I think that we're in for an exciting one here, Shinkari, and hopefully these teams have brought their best for today's match.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is like you said. Once this mid game happens, I feel like this map is really going to open up, and you know, I don't know if like vision is going to 100% be necessary, but you are going to need to know like where Galio and Shen are so that you can just be able to react a little easier to when they're ultimating. Maybe you're right and that it's going to be vision per se. I guess whenever I think of vision in like early game, I'm more of thinking about like jungler position because this Galio and Shen are going to be in lane like a lot. And if they're not in lane, they're probably in their base or like so far into the lane that like a ward probably wouldn't spot them out.
Yeah, so we'll have to keep an eye out for the level 6s coming through. There is some ability to potentially combat that with the True Shot Barrage if it does go towards the top side of the map. And there's definitely going to be opportunities, windows where both of these teams will be able to look for plays. So they'll just have to make sure not to play outside of their windows.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be interesting for sure. There you got two really big 5v5 brawling comps, standard front to backs here, so it'll be really interesting to see how this all plays out. But we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 1 of TDKA versus UQTRA. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58, and here we are on the rift of game number 1 of this best of 3 of Death Knight Amethyst versus Caps UQTR Academy. we have these two teams raring to go. It's the beginning of season 13. This is surely to be a great game. We already have two really brawly 5v5 comps ready to go. This is sure to be an exciting game. Tiger, are you ready?
Yeah, and looking at the runes and summoner spells, not a whole lot to note here. We did have interest in the aftershock being the choice here for young broke boy, and it is the press the attack for Falcon. So I think that that's more lane dominant centric, which makes a lot of sense given that they're into an Ezreal and Renata. But on the other side, it's going to be Ghost for Caps iTunes. So that's going to be maybe looking to pop the ulti and then just go drain off of everyone right quick and be a total menace. So if iTunes gets ahead, something to watch out for.
Yeah, I think if anything, I kind of don't like the ghost here. Just because like it might be fine on Swain, right? And let's be clear that like, it probably is fine, right? And like most Swains are probably taking it, right? But the problem for me is that the enemy team has so much global pressure that you're going to need just to at least match them on their TPs in order to make sure that you're not sorely outnumbered in a lot of these fights. Because if you think about it, there are what are we saying? 4 teleports on this team between heroic entrance, the 2 teleports, and the stand united.
Yeah, that seems about right. I think that it might be the case that for UQTR, they're going to have to just bring 5-man group before objectives just to be able to make sure that they're not too late to start the fight and end up on odd numbers.
Yeah. It's going to be a little awkward to start for these first fights here, but here we go. Oh, speaking of first fights here, that's going to be a good taunt on the bot lane there, and it's also going to force Raw away, but look at Caps. Real low on that HP there, but Venius is going to be able to get away.
Yeah, gonna have to heal back up with the potions, but that's kind of the strength of the misfortune, and with the lane setup as such, I think that this is something that we're going to see for a while here in this bot lane, where Falcon's just able to put out tons of damage, and Venius and Tucky are gonna have to play back.
Yeah. Young Broke Boy has been practicing the Shen a whole lot recently, so this is why they've been picking it up. They've only played 7 games recently, but they have a 71% win rate. So I think they've won like 5 out of their 7 games, which is pretty good. And it might not be like as practiced as some of their other characters. Like they have 159 games on Senna, which I believe was banned away in the draft law, but Young Broke Boy really showing off like these new picks and trying out some cool supports here is really, really interesting down this bot lane.
Yeah, in one of those earlier trades, we saw one of the dashes come out. I thought for a second that we were going to see the flash taunt confirmed, but the flash didn't come out. Benius was pretty low there, so that might have been able to score a kill, but it would have been a risky endeavor. So playing it cool and just being a little more patient here is the bot lane of TDK.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean the only thing I need to look for right now is I saw this a little bit from Simba, and maybe it's just because they couldn't trade further. Is I need to see if they're actually going to be able to get the damage off the aftershock. That's really what I want to see here, because that's kind of the big factor of whether or not aftershock is better than like something else like grasp or even electrocute for the Galio as well. And the same thing for Young Broke Boy as well. I think we discussed that maybe Guardian would be better on the Shen than the aftershock. Even though you do have that hard CC in order to proc it, you do still need to kind of be in melee range in order to get the payoff for it as well.
Yeah, I think that works okay here, because when you're up against a Swain and a Vi and a Kennen, all of those champions at least want to weave in and out of melee range.
Okay, we have a good taunt onto Swain here in the mid lane, taken incredibly low. iTunes is in some trouble, had to flash away, pops the ghost as well. Young Broke Boy is looking for an engage, but can't quite find it. He's so close, but I don't think he's within range to get that taunt. Thanks to Benius, he's out of there. It's no first blood just yet.
Yeah, it does have to flash and ghost there, so not a totally lost play. But you gotta appreciate supports who follow the roam, especially on Renata. That's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah, Asselrall now in some whole lot of trouble. Has to flash now, but there's so much damage on the blue team. Blue team picks it up. One finger smash is going to be the one picking up the first blood up in the top lane.
Yeah, and getting some gold on the Camille is going to be really nice because you're never feeling that great in a melee versus ranged matchup. But Camille definitely can take over that side lane matchup, especially in the 1v1 situations versus a Kennen later on in the game. And it just gets accelerated when you pick up these early kills.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's going to be... Oh, wait, Asselrall coming back to lane with a vengeance here. One finger smash might be in some trouble here, but Camille very slippery. Going to use those attack on Titan legs in order to get out of there.
Yeah, using the 3DMG, but pretty easy escape, honestly. And
Is
with
that what it's called?
Alpha,
Is that
yeah, I think
attack on
so.
Titan? I
The
don't
three
remember
D
what it's called. I
movement
just
here.
know that they use the they have the grappling hook belt.
Yeah. Well, whatever the case, one finger smash able to get out just fine, and it's hard to get kill threat in this matchup because she gets that shield. Camille does of adaptive force, so always going to be magic shield against Kennen, and that kind of absorbs a lot of the ultimate damage. So not going to be threatened just yet, and not actually recall. Wait. I think that one finger smash did recall but didn't teleport back. I was looking at the teleport differential and I was like, oh, one finger smash is going to be able to get the reset off, but not even forced to teleport back, so that's going to be an advantage that keeps being held here.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is that one finger. I think the wave was shoved to the other end of the turret there, so he didn't. One finger smash didn't need to like immediately teleport back to lane. Like he could just let the wave push for a little bit, and then just come back to lane afterwards. So
Looks
here we
like a
go.
potential
Mousetrap.
3v3 here.
Mousetrap looking for the engage here, gets snared up, and now Young Boy, Broke Boy is in some trouble. Mousetrap might be in some trouble as well, but here comes the heroic entrance onto Mousetrap. Not going to land the knockup on anyone, but Simba is here to help out. iTunes waiting in the corner. There's the engage. There's the onslaught of shadows. Bullet time to follow up as well. Huge damage on the US jungler here. Taken incredibly low. Going to turn to a zombie here. They need that assist in order to stay alive, but they're not going to be able to get it this time. They're trying to find the damage on iTunes, but he's so big. He's so healthy. He's healing up so much. He's underneath the turret. Pulls MFN closer. Good body block by Simba, but he might pay for it with his life. There's the flash, but now they're looking for it underneath the turret. There's the make it rain. They're looking for the last bit of damage, but they're just scooting around outside of this range here. They can't quite find these last kills. 1 for 1 down in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and TDK playing on the edge of destruction there, but all three members get back out. They're able to even it up, and that's why we picked the Ghost on Swain. Swain just able to walk up, ult, and then do so much work there. The mobility, making sure that the drain keeps on coming through. But well played by TDK to evade that at the cost of several flashes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this does, and now we see Mousetrap up in this top half of the map fighting for this Rift Herald. We're going to get some responses from the red team, but Swain is not yet back to lane, so if they're going to contest this, it might end up being a 3v2 unless Vi can go for a sneak. Yeah, not going to be able to grab this time. Mousetrap picks up the big eye. Where do you think they're going to be looking to drop this this Rift Herald?
Well, I would definitely look to drop it in the top lane. Already got a kill on the one finger smash with a good gank earlier, and that's definitely a spot that can be re-ganked with Alceral being down flash. Not going to be down flash much longer, and UW jungler hovering the area to make sure that that flash does come up. So that's a smart macro decision here from UQTR to make sure that they don't give up anything more in the top lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is going to be just a little bit tougher now with this Rift Herald in their pockets here. That's a decent chunk of gold that they're going to be putting into their pockets here, and they're already starting to eke out a little bit of a lead, and they've had a bit of a good lead on these neutral objectives as well. Remember, the blue team, while we only saw it for a bit of a second there with the directed camera, they got that first Drake that you can see up in the top corner there, sitting on that Earth Drake. They're already ready to go for this dragon stacking, being the first dragon already secured by them. So picking up the first Rift Herald as well. And they got first blood as well, so they have a whole lot of firsts underneath their belt here.
Yeah, and now that young broke boy is level 6, any skirmishes, you have to consider the Stand United coming in. So that's something to watch out for if you are UQTR. Got to make sure that that doesn't end up becoming a problem for you. But also, they're going to have to look at whether it's worth contesting on this second Drake, Cloud Drake, coming up here in about 30 seconds.
Yeah, Cloud Drake, once again, one of the better Drakes to get if it's by itself, because it means that you don't have the Cloud Soul for your team. And I think that's really good for the blue team here to not have the Cloud Soul here. There's a lot of their ultimates, we have them standing still for the duration of the movement speed buff. So it's not exactly the greatest thing for them here. I think Mousetrap might be the only one who would be able to benefit, but I think the channel time of some of these ultimates might just be long enough that like Galio, Misfortune, and Shen can't take advantage of the movement speed from such a dragon.
Yeah, still valuable, but not going to be showing up this time around. Looking for a gank here is young broke boy.
Ooh, double taunt. No, not double aftershock though. Gonna take force iTunes to flash away, but this is good. This is getting them some prio on the dragon here. Is a nice, another really good call here. Dropping Shelly in the mid lane means that they have to respond to this push.
Yeah, if not to get gold in one of your side lane carries, dropping it mid and taking the second Drake is a pretty reasonable option. And using that teleport to get back to the top lane, one finger smash now, going to be able to have effect on multiple sides of the map. Young Broke Boy's a little deep here.
Yeah, he might be caught out, but he's able to dash over the wall. But EU jungler is still looking for the engage here. Young Broke Boy is going to be pulled in. That's going to be, ooh, great. Cease and desist there. Not going to be able to grab them there, but that's a great two-man taunt by Simba here. Flesh out, Onslaught of Shadows over the wall is going to be able to find Renata Glass here. Now Tucky Thick still looking for the kill here, but that's going to be a great Swain ultimate. Triple kill for the Hecarim so far, but I think they might be able to duel him inside his own ultimate here. Taken incredibly low, goes Golden, still trying to heal back up. There's a great timed knockup, and they're going to find the fourth kill. That is what a fight that was around the blue buff there. They've got the second Drake, and they got turret plates after that, and now they've gotten 4 kills to boot. They're looking at about 1.8 thousand gold in the lead right now.
Yeah, and this one's been close thus far, Shinkari. Up until that fight, it's been within 500 gold all the way. But now a nice little lead being picked up, as well as the first 2 Drakes. And TDK have a chance to push towards the win and start off the day on the right note.
Yeah, I mean they've been looking pretty strong right now, and the best thing about it is that Falcon down in the bottom lane here hasn't really received a lot of kills. It's almost all the kills have gotten onto Hecarim. There's I think it's about 80% of them. But Falcon has been farming so well. 117 CS, 5 assists. Like that's a whole lot of gold in their pockets here. And yeah, there's the finished Kraken Slayer, and that's going to be a whole lot of damage for this Misfortune here. Remember, this is a very snowballing like champion, and the whole team is built around her. So the stronger her team becomes, the easier it's going to be for her to be able to snowball here. We've already seen Misfortune play to really good effect off the mechanics of her team.
Yeah, and in that last big fight, we saw all the kills being picked up by Mousetrap, but a lot of the health bar damage was done by the bullet time Falcon, just dodging out the hostile takeover and just being able to put out a decent bit of damage, especially onto iTunes at the beginning of that fight. Speaking of,
yeah, iTunes in some trouble here. Going to be taken real low by a lot of this damage, and Mousetrap is on a rampage, picks up another kill in the mid lane here.
yeah, 5-1 and 2, still 100% KP on the jungler. Gonna be doing a lot of work throughout this mid game. Trinity Force already completed. Looking to go towards a Chempunk Chainsword, it looks like. So, gonna be mitigating some of that healing that comes out on the Swain. So, makes a decent bit of sense here. Still a pretty efficient item as well. So we'll see if that ends up being the ticket to help them push their lead even further.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so, okay. One finger smash. Okay, not going to look for the engage this here, but I think it might have been a bait because here comes Mousetrap. That's going to be the Hextech Ultimatum coming down here. Alcerol goes golden with that slicing Maelstrom here, but let's see if they're able to turn this around. Don't want to go underneath turret this time, so they're going to have to get away from Alcerol here, but that does mean he does not have that stopwatch anymore. We'll have to wait for that to be a Zhonya's Hourglass before we see that go golden again.
Yeah, a pretty reasonable usage. You don't want to keep feeding kills over, especially if one of them could be picked up by the Camille. You want to limit the number of power sources, and right now, Mousetrap is the power source of the map.
Yeah, now here we go. We're fighting over the Rift Herald once more. Vi looking for the steal here. Not quite sure who picked it up, but now we've got the fight. Mousetrap is taken incredibly low. The Swain ultimate is fighting, doing a whole bunch of work here. Simba's now in some trouble here, staying inside the Swain ultimate. It looks like he's taking negative damage at this point, flashing away, but Swain still wants a fight. Going to use that Justice Punch to try to get away, but it looks like at the end there, Mousetrap was still able to secure the eyeball there, so they still have that. So now they have that second Rift Herald under their belt.
Yeah, it's a good fight for UQTR to take, but they're just not able to come out on top.
Ooh, great onslaught of shadows over the wall. They got the full team for support. One finger smash comes in and going to be able to pick up that kill for themselves. What an amazing play from them. Onslaught of shadows over the wall. Really, really good job.
Yeah, just hiding out in that Raptors pit, waiting for that play to happen. It looked like Mousetrap could anticipate iTunes stepping up there. And now we're seeing a little bit of an invade from EU West jungler, just trying to take it. I thought that we were going to get a dive under the tower, but nope, just taking away some wolves.
Yeah. I mean, this is the best thing to do right now if you're the Vi. Just try to deny as many resources as you can from the Hecarim. It's not going to set him too far back because, right, he's 5-1-3. It doesn't matter. He's looking for another kill. All right, he's out of there. They're not going to go for it this time. I think they might be looking more so for this Hextech Drake that is spawning right now.
Yeah, and already on 2 Drakes. Here we're at just about 18 minutes in, and picking up this 3rd Drake, a 23-minute soul pace, especially for a Hextech soul, has to feel pretty urgent to respond to if you are UQTR. And
yeah,
it looks like they won't be able to contest this 3rd one, so they're gonna have to find a way to set up around the 4th Drake and get in position to find a fight.
Yeah, for sure. This was once again, really, really good macro play by Mousetrap here. Been constantly going out, grabbing these Rift Heralds and dropping them down mid in order to take attention away from the Drake, in order to take attention, give some priority towards that bottom half of the map, in order to make sure that they had the numbers advantage to continue to fight that Drake there. So now they're on Soul Point at only 18 minutes into this game. So by the time we get to about 23 minutes, we're going to be looking at maybe a Hextech Soul here, which is really, really quick.
Yeah, and like you were saying, we are getting that AP Galio build with the Everfrost coming up early. Gonna have a little bit of some mixture to it going with the Merc Treads, but I'm gonna have a little bit of damage there. And with 1-0-6 scoreline, the individual gold lead is about 600 in that mid lane. Obviously, the biggest gold lead gonna be in the jungle role there. But definitely picking up advantages in the mid lane feels really good when you're on the Galio into Swain matchup.
Yeah, and even if those Merc Treads are technically a defensive option, because it's Galio, it's also an offensive option as well, because Galio does scale off of magic resist. So just having that having the Merc Treads there, it means that you don't have the magic penetration, but you do definitely get some bonus damage here. There. Oh man, young broke boy not able to grab that, land that taunt there onto the Ezreal. As we got a bit of a scuffle around the red buff here on the top side here. One finger smash might be in some trouble here. Mousetrap as well, as it's 4v2 up here. That's going to be the quick shutdown here. Not even heroic entrance is going to stop him, but that's a 4-man knockup. But now it looks like Galio might be in some trouble. Uses that Everfrost, but not going to be able to get away here. Taken incredibly low. Double kill for the Vi up on the top half of the map. One finger smash now might be in some trouble themselves, but I think the red team is just going to be able to walk away from this with a couple of kills to walk home with, and that's a really good place to be. Those were some 2 pretty big shutdowns there. A 500 gold shutdown as well. Like, this is a pretty good place to be, especially better after 2.3k gold lead now as Hextech Ultimatum comes down on Asselrawl. It's going to be the Ignite coming through. The Adaptive Shield. Let's look if they're able to finish it off. One last kick. Oh, it's going to be the Ignite that takes him down. Young Broke Boy fighting underneath the turret here. Might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew. The support can't take too much. That's going to be the onslaught of shadows coming through. They're going to knock iTunes back, and here comes Falcon. Going to slow them down a little bit with the bullet time and finish them off with the spray and pray, or should I say, make it rain and bullet time. I know champion abilities. I'm quick shot, sort of.
Your quick shot, sort of. Great analysis there,
Yeah.
Shinkari.
I'm swift shoot.
You're swift shoot?
You swift shoot.
All right.
New handle.
Well, Baron now on the map, so we'll have to see if either of these sides, particularly TDK, can start setting up around that one. They should have a pretty healthy take. They've got a big front line that should be not too weak to getting hit by the Baron damage, but we shall see. Obviously, Mousetrap wasn't able to tank through the entire enemy team for more than about 3 seconds, so still in the spot where he's not invincible, but I think that if they did set up around the Baron, they would have a legitimate threat of just taking it if they aren't responded to.
Yeah, for sure. Is now we're taking a look. We're taking stock of where we're at. 22 minutes in. We have a minute 14 till that Dragon Soul Drake comes up, and looks like it's a pretty good lead for Team Death Knight Amethyst at this stage. They're about 4,000 gold in the lead. It's 3,000. It's nearly 4,000 in the lead here. It's like 3.9 or something. But, you know, it's still looking really good for them. They have all of the outer turrets taken. They've secured almost all of the neutral objectives up until this point. And now we're looking at a mid game, and they're pretty solidly ahead. I'm loving this Kempunk Chainsword being coming out from Hecarim. I like to call it the Boulder Fist Ogre of League of Legends for all the Hearthstone players out there to get that joke. Mousetrap. Here we go. That's going to be the onslaught of shadows coming through. Benius might be in some trouble. That's the hostile takeover landing on everyone there, but it's not going to do a whole lot here, as that's going to be a good Hextech ultimatum here. Tuck it dead. Great slicing Maelstrom as well. These are the big AoE ultimates we were talking about there. So that's going to be cease and desist onto the backline there, but Misfortune is still able to survive that. Simba trying to run for their life here, trying to run away from the Swain, who's done so much damage. He's taken incredibly low. There's going to be the taunt coming across here. Might be able to re-engage, give Falcon enough time to turn this around, but not going to be able to get low this time. iTunes still looking for the kill on the Misfortune, but still can't quite find it. Tries to turn it around now that the ultimate has ended, and Mousetrap is going to use this opportunity as well. He's galloping. He's trying to get there quick, but he can't quite get there. Looks like they're going back away at their 3-4-2.
The health bars are so low.
Yeah, these health bars are so low. Okay, they're looking for a reintroduction into this fight here. They're looking to still contest this dragon. Shen is coming in, doesn't have that stand united, but is definitely on their way there. I think they might be conceding this Drake now that they see that teleport coming in as well. All right.
It's Soul.
Yep, that's Soul. Oh, wait, here we go. Wait, Renata Glass hasn't backed yet. Okay, here we go. This is their opportunity. They have to go now. They don't have those ultimates available anymore, so they're going to have to go in right now. US Jungler tries to get in, but gets stopped immediately. Now here comes the reintroduction. That's going to be the onslaught of shadows picking up Renata Glass there. Falcon is going to be flashing away. Asselrawl trying to get away from them as well. That's going to be the repel off the wall. There's the slow. There's the backflip and the damage. There it is. Going to come through. Double kill for Young Broke Boy on the Shen. Holy moly, that's going to be a whole lot. 3 for nothing, and the Dragon Soul to boot. We got a Hextech Soul. We've got 3 kills, 15-7, 5,000 gold in the lead. Team Death Knight Amethyst coming out huge.
Yeah, UQTR have played this game out very carefully, but here they're being punished for it because TDK Amethyst just rushing the Soul, able to pick that one up, and it's a Hextech Soul no less. It's going to be doing a lot of work for them the rest of the game, and I fear that UQTR may have just let themselves be completely pushed off of the map.
Yeah, as now, Benius might have found out Simba here, but I think Simba's perfectly fine with taking damage from Renata Glass. I don't think it's going to do too much damage to our big Petricite boy over here anytime soon, but they are setting up a death brush here. Benius could be in trouble. Oh, okay.
Ooh,
looks like everyone's just out of there.
Nice recall to get out. There is some vision around here for UQTR. They're trying to make sure that they don't give over everything that easily, but it's becoming more and more difficult for them to find a fight that they like. And they're kind of waiting to get an opportunity to use all of these big ults. We saw iTunes getting a lot of value in the beginning of the last fight before the Drake, but they need some help from the rest of the members to set that up to be able to actually knock down the kills.
Yeah, for sure. Is now looking at about 26 minutes in this game right here. Baron is up and should be the next large neutral objective on the map that TDKA here could be looking for. I mean, they've been playing so much around these neutral objectives. I think if they win the next fight, they're immediately going to the Baron for sure.
Yep, I think whoever wins the next fight will immediately go to Baron. But we're already in a situation where it's 3.5 minutes to Elder Drake, so we may get to see more fighting before that. But definitely at that time, both of the teams should be on the map looking to get those kills.
Yeah, young Broke Boy in a bit of trouble here. They might actually be able to pick up this objective bounty here, so that's a decent chunk of gold. 250 gold split among the team. That's 50 gold per person. That's definitely pretty good. Gonna keep them still in this game here. Only 5,000 gold. Usually we don't say the enemy team is out of it until the lead is about like 10,000. That's when we're like, okay, well, both teams played hard, but 5,000 is tough to come back from but with objective bounties on the map and a couple of large bounties on the enemy team as well. This still looks like a game that they can come back from. It's not they're not out of it yet, but it is going to be a real tough getting back into this game.
Yeah, they're going to have to find a way to take out Falcon. 3-0-8 on the Misfortune, and now 3 items complete. With that collector, should be able to slam down some of these squishy targets even easier. And with the IE and Kraken Slayer, it's just going to be so much damage coming out. And in these previous fights, we've seen a lot of the time Falcon just waits for the initial abilities to be blown by UQTR. And then once all of the threats are gone, uses the bullet time in a way that just breaks up the fight and allows Mousetrap to clean up.
Yeah. I think you're right, and really, if they want to be able to claim those bounties and also get themselves back into this game, I think sometimes just beelining for Falcon isn't exactly the worst idea, right? Because sometimes you don't want a ton of. I know everyone in the entire world is always like kill the AD carry, right? But it's not always that easy, right? It's not like you can just just kill the AD carry. You can't tunnel vision, right? But with a team that has a Vi and multiple AoE ultimates like the Kennen and the Swain, it gets kind of easier, right? Because as long as you're vaguely within, as long as she is within range of your abilities, you're also hitting everyone else around her as well. Which, since this team is 4 tanks and Misfortune, it's going to be a lot of the time here. But here comes hostile takeover here, gonna peel off Mousetrap from getting close. But now young Broke Boy is in some trouble here. Gonna dash away as Hotshot Fingers comes out, or Shotgun Fingers comes out. Young Broke Boy forced to flash away here as they continue their march over towards this Baron pit. They have to be careful they're not warded up on this in the river there. Alio might be caught out here, channeling the taunt here. That's going to be the cease and desist on top of Simba here, forced to flash away, but that's one utility not available for the rest of the team. Flashing into the enemy team, gonna pop that ultimate, looking for a little bit more. They might have found one finger smash here, but that's exactly what Misfortune was waiting for here. Great heroic entrance to dive in as well. Young Broke Boy going to come in too. They're still looking for these fight, but these HP bars are still pretty healthy here. US Jungler is going to be the first to fall. Zasarol falls to the backside there. iTunes is going to be next, followed by Tucky Thick, and that's the ace coming through for Team Death Knight. Amethyst, it's clean as well. All 5 members still alive. Baron now on the docket for the blue team, and they're pushing down the mid lane as well.
This is what I'm talking about, Shinkari. We see UQTR go all in to try to pick off Simba. They don't have the damage to get it done, and Simba is able to get out with just flash. And then meanwhile, Falcon's setting up over a wall, able to get off the bullet time absolutely for free, and takes essentially no damage that whole fight, just able to put out the DPS. And when you don't threaten their main damage carry, then you're going to have a hard time. Then with the 5-for-0 ace, it looks like this game is heavily favored for TDK Amethyst.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way for real. I mean, they're also on the Elder Drake too now. I mean, Galio is going to take some time to get there, but does have that unleashed teleport if he really needs to get there as soon as possible. But he's walking down there right now. If this is going to be a 5v5 fight, there's a lot of ultimates available for
They're
the
almost
red
on
team,
the
actually.
Falcon. They can look at this one.
Yeah, we have to keep our eyes open. Here comes the hostile takeover, but it doesn't land on anyone. But look at where EUS jungler is positioned right now in that tri-bush, looking for the steal. That's going to be the slicing maelstrom coming across here. Is taunted. That's going to be the bullet time to follow up as well. They haven't been able to get on top of Falcon just yet, and that's going to be them over the wall. EUS jungler is now tanking up the Elder Drake right now in order to make sure that it doesn't leash away. But immediately it's bursted the second that they show up into the fight. That's going to be a one-man taunt on the backside. Good follow-up in the root as well, but they don't have the damage to follow through. Simba is taken down. Shen is taken down as well. 3 members down, and now Mousetrap is looking for them. That's going to be the Elder Drake execute. The zombification is not going to be able to save you this time. Now Tucky Thick is the only member of the red team alive to tell the tale, and they can just march down this bot lane right here and take everything away from UQTRA.
Yeah, this is the power of triple endgame buffs with the Elder Drake, with the Baron buff. They're going to be able to push it in. It looks like they're a little bit hesitant to try to take it all the way into the base. Caps, iTunes, and UW Jungler are going to be back up right now, so they will be allowed to defend the base. But another good fight coming out there from TDK Amethyst. And now they're going to be even in a stronger position than before, if that is even possible.
Yeah, I mean it is going to be definitely pretty tough to get back from this position. I mean, we said before, usually we don't call the game. I don't want to say the game is over, but it is in a spot where it would take a comedy of errors from Team Death Knight Amethyst here in order for UQTR to win. The difference between these two teams right now is nearly 13,000 gold. They have Baron buff, they have Elder Drake, they have Dragon Soul. They've got an inhibitor down as well, which means they could just look to end the game if they win this team fight. So now, let's see. This might be the final fight right here. Huckstag Ultimatum comes down. That's going to be a great bullet time on the backside here, but the Zhonya Zarnaglass is going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer, but that execute on the Elder Drake is way too strong. That's going to be 2 kills for the Misfortune. Make that 3. Triple kills
The
so far. Can
hostile
they
takeover.
find more? Falcon is pretty low here, so they do have to be careful. Young Broke Boy is laying on the edge. That's going to be making it rain. Coming across. Triple quadra pentakill! Falcon comes out big, ends the game with an easy pentakill. That's going to be the end of the game. Oh, come on, double kill. Get out of here. Unofficial penta, whatever. Style Esports Season 13 Week 2 comes out with an explosive start. Team Death Knight Amethyst comes out winning game number 1.
Yeah, and Shinkari, I'm going to call that an unofficial octa kill because the 3 kills that went back the way of UQTR, they were all hostile takeover. Falcon just shooting on team friendly fire on, and that just means 8 kills in that fight all went to the Misfortune. Was able to survive it as well. Nice usage of the stopwatch there. And clean victory there from Team Death Knights Amethyst. And they're looking like a pretty powerful force to be reckoned with in the gold plat divisions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're already looking really, really strong, but we do have at least one more game for y'all to watch here. As this is a best of 3. We should be getting that to you guys in just a little moment. In just a moment here, we will be back in just a moment with picks and bans of Team Death Knight Amethyst versus Esports Caps UQTR. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58, and here we are in Picks and Bans, game number 2 of Team Death Knight Amethyst versus Esports Caps UQTR Academy. Here we are, ready to get this game underway. If you're joining us for the first time, Team Death Knight Amethyst took game number 1 in a rather impressive fashion, bringing us to about a 35-ish minute game as they picked up every single late game buff in order to close out, and a pentakill with Misfortune to boot. So here we are, game number 2. We already see some changes in the picks and bans. Tiger, what are you looking to see in the change from at least the draft from UQTR Academy here in order to take a win in game number 2?
I like that they've already banned Hecarim. I think giving over Hecarim and Misfortune was a little bit too much in the power picks being given up. And it looks like they're going to steal away the Galio as well. So building a little bit different, still retaining that cannon. So maybe going to be looking for some big AoE teamfight ultimates again. It'll be interesting to see if the Galio gets flexed between mid and support.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that kind of support coming through here. I don't know if I particularly like support Galio. Even though support Galio is pretty good, I definitely like him more in the mid lane just because it frees him up to just go more offensive with his build. It also allows him to go also allows him to free up a little bit more space in the lanes to ultimate too as well. But we are going to get a run back of the young broke boy support Shen one more time here. Really, really strong on that champion. It's interesting they decided to go with the Shen here. So he does have 159 games and 63% win rate on Senna, which is insane. Here, which is it's pretty good. I'm surprised he didn't go for it, but the Shen, whole lot of real good time here. And Silas, if he gets to level 6 before Galio, is able to use that heroic entrance before Galio.
Yeah, I think that the Senna would have been maybe a more lane dominant pick, but once the level 6 is hit, I think that Shen's ability to influence the map is something that's even greater than Senna's, despite the fact that Senna also has the global ultimate. But we've got pretty similar comps. I mean, picking the Silas here, TDK Amethyst, gonna be trying to run back a situation where they can get into the side lanes by stealing that Galio ult.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a really good. I love the Silas into Galio matchup here. It's really good. I would say it's really good for the Galio, but in a way, it's really good for the Silas as well because Silas, if he's able to get the level 6 before Galio, like we said a couple times, he's able to use that ultimate, and it really means that Team Death Knight Amethyst isn't really changing the team comp that they had previously. They basically, like you said, they basically have the same composition as they did before. The only thing missing now is just this one top laner that can be a frontliner with a heavy engage that Silas can jump to if he steals that Galio ultimate.
I mean, Shen is still a viable top lane champion, so let's keep that in mind that it could be flexed. We are seeing a lot of it from young broke boy, but you never know. You never know where that flex is going to go. But getting into the second half, I would expect to see the AD carry picked here by Esports Caps UQTR Academy. Maybe going towards something like an Aphelios would help them in the team fight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, oh, yeah. I mean, right as you say that, there's the Aphelios right there. I mean, Aphelios is a very strong AD carry. We've seen them a whole lot in Worlds. I still would say that they're a little bit complicated just because usually when you have short range AD carries that don't have mobility options, it does get to the point where it's like, oh, hey, what am I, I have to be so close to the team fight, but don't have a way to get out. And you really have to rely on your team in order to kind of keep you safe, which is why Aphelios is usually good with hook champions, right? But we don't see that here. But Senna being locked in does mean that this is probably not a support Shen here. We are going to get the young broke boy Senna.
Unless it's top lane Senna, but that would be a little bit weird. They've got a similar vibe to last time, where they've got a lot of cross map abilities. They're gonna try to find some picks, And if they can get early advantages, they're going to try to repeat what we saw last game. There was just so much power out of Falcon's Misfortune. The Nocturne going to try to counteract some of that and be a good place to follow up for the Galio. So I like that synergy there. They're changing some things up, UQTR Academy, and they're going to try to find some more power once they hit their level 6s.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, we've hit another point where both teams have sort of a Galio delivery service, especially with the Silas there as well, right? And once again, I feel like I think the big thing here is that TDKA, especially the Silas here, doesn't even need to steal Galio's ultimate. There are so many ultimates on the enemy team that are insanely good. I have to look at what I think if Silas steals Aphelios' ultimate, he steals it with the gun that Aphelios is currently using. So that'll be important to note. So the two guns that he currently has, that's going to influence what Silas uses when he uses that ultimate there. But, you know, there's going to be so many better ultimates for him to take. I mean, slicing Maelstrom on Silas, are you kidding? Holy moly, that's good.
Yeah, I want to see the green gun ult get stolen, and then Silas just auto attacks a bunch of people from 3,000 units away. That would just look really funny to me. But yeah, I definitely think that for a team fight situation, we're going to have to watch out for hostile takeover being stolen, maybe slicing Maelstrom as well. But there's a lot of great ults here. Even in the mid game, I can imagine a stolen paranoia trying to turn the tides after like the paranoia gets used, then the stolen paranoia gets used. No one can see anything. Everything goes crazy. I think that these team fights are going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Silas is always a cool champion to watch just because he can steal those ultimates. Something fun I learned the other day on the Worlds broadcast is that if Silas steals the Death Realm from Mordekaiser and uses it at the same time on someone else as different from Mordekaiser, Mordekaiser and Silas will share the Death Realm. So it'll just be a 2v2. It'll be a 2v2 in the Death Realm. Which I think is really, really funny. Of just like imagining you just there. It's like, haha, now you will face only me. And then Silas shows up and you're just like, wait a minute, wait, how'd you get in here?
Yeah, but not going to be seeing any of that this game with no Mordekaiser. I'm thinking that looking at these junglers, Mousetrap maybe needs to get some ganks off in the early stages. I like how it's Sejuani plus a bunch of melee champs. Gonna have a lot of setup in mid and top. I definitely expect a lot more focus around mid lane, around getting some carry potential out of Simba this game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Simba once again is playing another kind of engage heavy melee mage kind of a champion, even though it's not exactly Galio, is going to be a very similar thing as to what we saw before. And I think Simba was playing really, really well in the Galio here. So I expect to see kind of like similar kind of mechanics from Simba here. So looking really, really good in my opinion. I'm interested to see how he plays the Silas here. According to his OPGG, doesn't really play a whole lot of Silas, but you know, if he plays the Galio, if he plays the Silas as well as he played the Galio, I think they'll be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I think that Silas into Galio is just Galio light, honestly. It just has the same ability to get some CC down early, can steal away the ultimate and make the plays around the map, and then just does a bit of magic damage while also being somewhat tanky in the front line, maybe deceptively so because of some of the shielding and some of the healing that comes out between the two of them. But I definitely expect to see some action around that mid lane. It'll be interesting to get to look at young broke boys Senna, though, much vaunted champion, and we'll have to see if it pays off.
Yeah, I mean, usually you don't see the Misfortune Senna pairing. It's not exactly like a pairing that you see a whole lot of. Maybe Falcon isn't as comfortable on the Tom Kench here, but Misfortune is such a good champion. And honestly, like I think Senna's root is enough to work with Misfortune's bullet time that it's just good enough, right? Like it doesn't need to be like an Alistar or a Leona Solar Flare, right? Like with the Senna here, it does mean that, especially on the support role, means that if Sejuani and Shen are basically free to go full tank, because you just have so much damage being built in that bot lane there, just from Misfortune's items and Senna's souls, means that you're gonna have a really, really powerful AD bot, or just AD damage uh, thing here. That, Shen doesn't need to go into the Titanic Hydra. Sejuani doesn't need to do anything. Like, Sejuani is just free to go mega tank, and I think that's going to be really, really good for both Sejuani and Shen here. Really going to be able to shine the best here for those two particular roles.
Yeah, I definitely do think that picking up the Senna alongside the Misfortune means that the bot lane of TDK Amethyst is going to have a lot of pressure in the early stages of its game, especially the first 5 levels. Once the ultimates come through on both sides, then they can maybe be repelled by the hostile takeover, by the Moonlight Vigil. But for the first 5 levels, I expect them to be almost pushing Aphelios Renata entirely off the wave. So we'll see how effectively they can play that out. But there might need to be some jungle or mid lane help coming early on in this one to help the bot lane of UQTR.
Yeah. And I definitely like that UQTR has basically drafted a similar comp to what TDKA did before. I mean, this is the kind of comp I love because Galio is my favorite champion. So, especially being able to play with a Nocturne, one that allows you to, from outside range, from basically able to ult from darkness, right? Like, you won't be able to see it coming for the most part, and it doesn't matter where your wards are because Nocturne's going to turn out the lights, and then Galio is going to be able to follow up on whatever squishy target he dove on as well. And if Kennen is in the wings, that means you have a 3-man dive onto a bot side of a Misfortune and a Senna, which is definitely going to be insanely powerful, especially with all the CC all three of them are able to do.
Yeah, well, I definitely like this draft here in game number 2 for UQTR better than what they had in game number 1. But I think it's pretty good from both sides. Both sides should have a chance in this one, and we'll see if UQTR can tie the series back up.
Yeah, for sure. We are going to go into just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 2 of Team Death Knight Amethyst versus Esports Caps UQTR Academy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58, and here we are on the Rift of game number 2 of TDKA Team Death Knight Amethyst versus Esports Caps UQTR Academy. We are in game number 2 after Team Death Knight Amethyst won their first game, and we are ready to get this game number 2 underway. We have a bunch of changes from the previous draft here. Let's see if they're able to play out the way that both teams hope. Tiger, are you ready?
Yeah, looks like we might get a little bit of invade action. I think it's going to get spotted out here.
Ooh. Oh, that was real close there. But they were able to get actually a couple flashes out of that there. Looks like it was just the flash of both supports. So not the end of the world, but they did not place any sort of vision on this other half of the blue half of the map there. So they were just looking for that first blood. Might be a bit of a blunder. I mean, that's usually why you go for those early invades there in order to get vision on the Sejuani there. But I guess they know that Sejuani isn't starting on the red side.
It's hard to say if they know that for sure, but I think that the trade is advantageous either way for TDK Amethyst because they have that Sejuani. They can look to path towards bot side and go for a gank here around level 3, level 4, and try to go all in.
Yeah, Simba in some trouble here because iTunes did get that level 2 before him. So I think they're just going to duke it out a little bit here. Luckily, Simba does have some healing in the kit. Silas does. And so it's going to be just a little bit of time before he fully gets that healing back.
Yeah, it looks like gonna be all right there in the mid lane. Gonna be able to pop both pots and just get back to about 60% health, and back to even on the levels as well. So nothing going down just yet. Looking for something though.
Yeah, Simba once again taken real low. This is the best part about laning Galio is that your first few levels you have so much burst damage between your passive and your full combo as well that like it's really hard to deal with you that this early. And if iTunes is being aggressive in these trades, if he's staying in for that aftershock as well, that's a whole big chunk of damage as well. But here we go. Looking in the bot lane there. The snare is going to be good onto both members, but Mousetrap is nowhere near to get that charge. Flash charge going to cut off Benius from trying to get away. Doesn't have that flash. Remember, Benius taken incredibly low. The first blood is going to go over to Young Broke Boy as Tucky Thick trying to turn this around for them, but he's already taken incredibly low. Snared up towards the ends of the turret, but Falcon can't quite find that kill for themselves. Falcon did try to flash in order to get that kill for themselves, but wasn't able to grab it for themselves. So they are going to spend that flash. Tucky Thick spends the heal, but First Blood still goes over to Team Death Knight Amethyst.
Yeah, and it just seems like that invade on the bot side, the flash all-in attempt, it makes sense to go for a try like that, but you have to understand that when it doesn't work out, you don't have flash, and the enemy team has a jungler that can gank effectively, so you gotta play that one a little safer. Young Broke Boy gonna get the first blood on that Senna and gonna be able to work towards what I assume is gonna be an Umbral Glaive first, because that item's just stupid on Senna and Pike.
Yeah, it's such a good item to have, especially on a support as well, being able to clear out wards and also give you some lethality. It's very good. What do you think about Young Broke Boy just getting first blood in general? Do you think it's like the end of the world? Like, what do you think?
It's nothing's the end of the world in League of Legends. You're never too far ahead to throw, but I do think that Young Broke Boy probably the best target for that, just because the one item power spike is so good.
Right, but now we see iTunes and Simba fighting one more time. Flash from iTunes here in the mid lane, though, but is real close to that stun from Sejuani, though. Not going to get enough of those stacks here. Going to be able to flash away and get the out. So not going to find it just yet. But Simba's still in some trouble in the mid lane here after these fights with Caps, with iTunes there. So it has to be very careful.
Yeah,
look at that. So much damage.
I like what we've seen so far from Benius in the early games, being willing to roam around, try to help out in the mid lane, knowing that the bot lane isn't a spot where they can apply any pressure anyways. I think that that's an absolutely fine roam timer, and the fact that it didn't come up with anything shouldn't discourage Benius from continuing to try to find roam timers on that mid lane.
Yeah, for sure. As now we're getting to start to see some folks meet up with each other here as yeah, we have a whole lot of pings. We're gonna see that sent us really out of position there. Gonna be able to get away from all that, almost collapsed in by 3 members of the red team here, but it means that they can't quite get this early Ocean Drake. But I think that the red team is doing a good job of warding around these areas because of how of how Team Death Knight Amethyst was playing around these neutral objectives in the previous game here.
Yeah, and not going to be too much gained after all. We see the gold lead shrinking back to being dead even, honestly. So it's been a good job after that initial kill by UQTR Academy of just making sure that nothing more gets out of hand and they can just continue on even footing until they can get their ultimates.
Yeah, here we go. Simba in some trouble here. iTunes just is so tanky. Even with that one Negatron cloak, Simba just can't break through all of that HP that Galio has, and now Simba might be in some trouble. Okay, gonna be able to back away there.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to remind everyone this was the Silas counter into Galio. This was their choice. And now another play on the bot side. Flash is back up now for Benius.
Yeah, they have to watch out, Captain Benius. Ooh, they did the Stand United as well. Taunt and stun is such a good combination. Falcon is the one picking up the kill on the Benius there as Tucky Thick, even though they have the white gun, can't quite effectively help out their teams. Now Simba, once again, facing some harassment from the red team here.
Yeah, but it's not going to be enough to threaten a kill. Simba going to be just fine. The first Drake, now with the Stand United coming in, they can pressure around it. Although, at the same time, One Finger Smash is walking back towards the top lane. So we'll see if there's any contest here. It looks like it may be given over to TDK Amethyst once again.
Yeah, I think the big problem here is that Shen is going to be ending up losing a whole lot of... Oh, wait a minute. US jungler going in here looking for the steal. Not going to be able to secure it, though. The heroic entrance and it comes in as well. Goes over the wall, but is going to be followed. The US jungler is going to be able to find that kill. Young Broke Boy is now in some trouble here. US jungler still looking for a little bit more. Does not have that spell shield available just quite yet. Going to be snared up there. So they're going to be able to walk away. Falcon was killed on the bottom edge of the map there. They were able to finally grab that Ocean Drake, but they did lose 2 members because of it, putting the gold into Esports Cap's UQTR Academy favor.
Yeah, and almost all the lead is on iTunes right now. One of the kills goes over to Tucky Thick, so that's got to feel good. You want to get that Aphelios in carry position. I think that's the only source of consistent DPS we can expect. It is a lethal tempo Nocturne, so you can get a little bit of damage coming out from there. But you're looking at mostly burst otherwise, so getting Tucky Thick ahead is something that's worth investing in here if you are UQTR.
Yeah, now Falcon in some trouble here. Already taking a whole lot of damage, forced to flash away. But here comes Young Broke Boy, already dealing a decent chunk of damage on the Benius here. They might be able to turn this around. They don't have the ultimates available. Keep that in mind. And Tucky Thick doesn't have theirs as well, even though they're level 6. But they did just get level 6 for Falcon here. So they really doubly have to be careful now. So now Mousetrap has to be careful for themselves. Siping Maelstrom comes through. They're taking incredibly low. Not going to be able to survive this one this time. Asselroll is going to be the one picking up the kill here. Is now Simba's in some trouble. That's going to be the Justice Punch going forward. There's going to be the big Tom Force now. The flash from Simba here. Not going to be able to answer that. Bullet time down the bot lane now. Got the Make It Rain as well. Caps Benny is taking a decent chunk of damage, but not going to be able to find any kills just yet.
Yeah, unfortunate that the bullet time was channeled under tower because Young Broke Boy connected there with the root, and if that root had been allowed to find all of the channel of bullet time, I think that would have been a kill.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Simba, once again, it's impossible to fight iTunes right now. All he has is a Negatron cloak, and while it's good to be able to steal the ultimate away from iTunes, man, it's just not been a good time in this mid lane for Simba here. Okay, there's going to be the Paranoia on top of him right here. He dashes back in. They're still underneath tower here. US Jungler is going to be able to get away. iTunes flashing away from the turret here, but Mousetrap still wants more. These HP bars are so incredibly low. There's the Glacial Fissure to close it out. The Glacial Prison shutdown is going to go on to One Finger Smash, though, and that's going to be a huge pickup for the blue team here. Death Knight Amethyst comes out and ties up the gold lead.
Yeah, a little bit of an overstay there as US Jungler going for the dive. Able to get that initial kill onto Simba, but what really strikes me is that iTunes probably didn't need to stand so close on the way out. Was kind of toying with the idea of trying to help Jungler get out, but wasn't able to do so and ended up giving up the 1-for-2 on the back end of the play.
Yeah, for sure. Now we're starting to see just a little bit better of a time coming out for TDK Amethyst here. I mean, they don't have as strong as an early game as we saw in the previous game here. They were able to secure these neutral objectives, but they are being contested all over the map here. So it's not like they're having an easy time picking up these neutral objectives, even though they're still doing a good job of fighting for them. Right, in terms of neutral objectives, they're 1-for-1 right now as they're looking for another gank cut to the bot lane here. Falcon looking for the engage. They still can't find it. They're making it rain here. That's going to be the hostile takeover, getting Mousetrap away. That's a good route onto Benius here, but they're not able to follow through. Tucky Thick is doing a whole bunch of damage, and Young Broke Boy might have bitten off just a little bit more than they can choose. Look at all those chakrams Tucky Thick now has, but Mousetrap still wants to re-engage. That's a great bullet time from the engage there. Good follow-up. Simba's going to be the one picking up that kill down to the bottom lane there. And holy moly, it's 1-for-1. And what a great amount of gold to be given over to Simba right there.
Yeah, they might be not done just yet.
Wait a minute. Yeah, that's going to be... Oh, double heroic entrance here. Going to get that double knock up there. Falcon is taken down here. But look at the burst damage coming down from iTunes here. Is now US Jungler coming through. Going to have to use that Glacial Prison in order to stop the Galio. Not going to be able to get through this time, but they lose 2 more. So at the end of the day, that's going to be a 3-for-1, I believe. And now we have a Shelly being popped down in the bot lane as well. Young Broke Boy finally back. All right, I don't think we're going to be seeing any more fighting anytime soon. Actually, wait a minute. That's a good taunt on a Young Broke Boy. Knocked into the air as well. And not quite able to follow through as well as they hope. But Young Broke Boy does have 3 souls to pick up right there.
Yeah, and with the next Drake coming up here in 15 seconds, the fighting may just continue here. We got a lot of ults on cooldown right now. I think just about all of them except the Slicing Maelstrom. So maybe these teams are going to be a little bit more passive, wait for their key abilities to be back off cooldown before they go for this one. But there has been a lot of priority around Drakes, especially from TDK Amethyst.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the big thing for me is that I think TDK Amethyst is just a little bit better at taking this neutral objective just because they have the Sejuani, they have the Senna. Okay, wait, here we go. Shen is TPing into this as well. It's Slicing Maelstrom coming across, but Young Broke Boy is in a whole lot of trouble. He's going to be taken down. Double taunt. They're not able to follow up on it as well as they'd like. Mousetrap coming back in with real low on HP, but is able to land the stun, make it rain over the wall. Esselroll is still taking incredibly low. One figure smash is coming in, but Falcon is going to be the one picking up the kill there. Back over the wall is going to do the Paranoia, dive on top of Sejuani here, trying to get away, and that's going to be the double kill coming through. The hostile takeover comes through. Look at the amount of damage on the Falcon right there. iTunes gets a great taunt, but they need to get on the Falcon here, taking incredibly low. Has to fight Tucky Thick, but they do have the red-white guns. Red-white do fight. Simba coming through, going to be able to get that kill now. Caps Benius trying to heal off of the Summoner heal now. They're trying to turn this around as best they can. Simba now in some trouble. Does not have that Kingmaker just, does not have that steal just quite yet. So they come out of this behind 3-2 with Young Broke Boy finally responding, re-entering the fight. Let's see if they're able to continue this. Dash forward, lands the chains onto the blue buff, though, taking real low. That Ignite is going to keep him from healing. Flash forward from Tucky Thick is going to be able to give them the kills. Now, Young Broke Boy, they're still playing with fire here. Both these teams still looking to try to secure this Cloud Drake.
Yeah, buff transfer complete. Tucky Thick picking up another kill. 4-1-1 on the Aphelios. Now in a very strong spot. Gale Force complete. Going to be picking up some tier 2 boots as well. And the Drake doesn't end up going over to anyone just yet, but now the gold lead expanding over 2.5k in favor of UQTR.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gold lead that's very much in their favor. I do want to just kind of like put a little asterisk on that because I think the big thing here is that they do still have Senna who's sitting on a tier now, but Mousetrap might be in some trouble. But iTunes also looking into some trouble as well. As here we go, another fight. There's going to be the Paranoia diving on top of Falcon right here, trying to kite away as best they can. But they've, oh man, the US jungler just does not let up. As here comes the heroic entrance, going to give Nocturne just a little bit more space to work with. Here comes the Slicing Maelstrom as well. These AoE ultimates are too good, and the blue team is just falling one after another. Here comes the steal from Silas and the re-entrance as well, but they can't find the kills off of anything. The team is too far away and too low on HP in order to follow up on that. iTunes still looking for a kill on a mousetrap, maybe on a one-finger smash, but they need to be careful. They're underneath the turret here. It was very bad to dive a Shen, but they're still looking for it. Here comes the minion wave. That's one-finger smash trying to stay underneath turrets for as long as they can here. Okay, they're not going to go for the dive. They're just backing away. Cloud Drake goes over to the red team.
All right, well, now we're getting a little bit of a reversal of fates from last game. UQTR Academy picking up the second Drake of the game, picking up an even further gold advantage, and picking up all those kills as well. They're now in a situation where they have multiple carry threats, and the big difference to me from what we saw last game is that now they're getting on to Falcon at the beginning of these fights. 4 deaths this game, no deaths all of last game, so much different story. Falcon definitely feels like he needs a little bit of peel from the team, but we'll see if they can turn this one back around.
Yeah, I mean, that's the... bullet time over the wall here. Benny is taken actually pretty low. Not going to be able to finish off that kill. But I think you're right. I think one finger smash needs to start babysitting Falcon for as long as possible and not using Stand United as a follow-up engagement tool, and more so as a protect the misfortune tool, because there's not a whole lot of damage on. I don't want to say there's not a whole lot of damage, but like Falcon is a big portion of your damage here. While he's not the only damage dealer, Young Broke Boy is still on that tier, right? Their biggest item is that Umbral Glaive, right? They don't really have a lot of damage to their name right now. So Misfortune with the Kraken Slayer is going to be a big part of your damage here. So just having that Stand United to protect your AD carry is going to be more important than following up on an engage here. Simba might be in some trouble here. Taunted up, rooted, snared, thrown around. Hostile takeover as well. Tries to flash. Not going to be able to get away with that after so much was spent in order to find that kill onto Simba there.
Yeah, honestly, just trade that Rift Herald for getting the tower bot. That's a fine trade. Giving up the kill there seems pretty unnecessary, but now they're going to give up the mid tower as well, it looks like. We'll see if they can stop the second charge from coming down.
Yeah, they're going to have to play this this next part of the game pretty careful, because they're behind. Falcon is on a snowballing champion that has fallen behind, and I think the only thing really keeping Falcon in this game right now, and why he looks pretty much tied or even ahead of Aphelios, is that CS number. Take a look at that, 25 CS ahead, and that's really the only thing keeping him in this game right now, because he's still ahead by a kill and ahead by an assist as well. As now Benny is in some trouble here. That's going to be the Glacial Prison coming out, but not going to land on the Bennius. Going to back away here is Tucky Thick, still looking for something here. Use the Gale Force to go forward. Gets rooted up, but no follow-up there.
Yeah, nice flash to dodge out the Moonlight Vigil. And both supports finding themselves without the flash once again. I think that's a much more okay trade at this point in the game, though, if you are UQTR. They're looking to be able to take out this back lines, and just being able to flash defensively is all that Benius needs to look to do. But now with that Rift Herald smashing through the mid lane, they should be able to open up the vision around the rest of the map. And with the next Drake coming up in a minute and a half, I think that's where we'll see it in the next action going.
Yeah, I think you're right, especially with how much priority both these teams have put onto dragon stacking. Especially since both these teams are gonna get stronger as this game goes on, right? We have Senna and we have Silas, two characters that are gonna get insanely powerful the more items that they have, the longer this game goes on. And even Senna, she's an infinite scaler. Let's actually take a look at where she's sitting right now in terms of those souls. She's sitting at 54, so she's close to another attack range breakpoint. So a lot of good stuff as Paranoia comes down onto the bottom lane here, trying to get the fear onto Silas. Is going to be taken pretty low, half HP, snared up by the Everfrost here, going to be able to get away, but not enough. Caps iTunes finds another kill down the bot lane, and Simba continues to rack up those deaths. Oh, interrupting the teleport here onto Aselral. Might actually end up using the Slicing Maelstrom on the top half here. One finger smash might have paid for that with their life here, as now they're not able to fully contest this Drake, spawning in 30 seconds.
Yeah, so a couple of picks going over. A nice solo kill there from Aselral, but I think that the Baron shouldn't be on the table just yet. Maybe they can look to threaten it. And there's at least vision in the area though, so no face checking required here from the side of TDK Amethyst. They're gonna just try to put some poke down going up to this Drake, but I don't think they'll be able to contest it. They don't have to, but a couple more Drakes, and there's going to be a real threat here for the side of UQTR.
Yeah, we do see One Finger Smash teleporting up into that top lane there, so it does tell me that they're not looking to fight around this Drake here. They're doing the standard move of they're going to Drake, we're going to do our best to force them away from it by pushing some pressure on the mid lane turret. Well, that's going to be easily answered by the Aphelios.
Well, with that Drake going down and with the 6,500 gold lead, it's going to be an uphill battle for the rest of the game here. If you are on the side of TDK Amethyst, they need to find picks. They've got some ability to pick, but also delaying the game does a lot of work for them.
Ooh, wait a minute. That's a real good hit there, but that's going to be the paranoia to answer. Senna ultimate coming across, going to keep them alive for just a little bit longer, but they're going to fall. Falcon now getting that stand united. They might be able to turn this around here. That's going to be a good one. Dash in, gets the taunt onto Renata Glass here as here comes Galio with that heroic entrance as well. Benius taken real low. That's going to hostile takeover from the Silas here. Going to keep them inside the bullet time. Shutdown for Simba here as now they dash forward onto that. Going to pick up the kill into Renata Glass, and that's 2 for 1. They lose a turret on the top half, though.
Yeah, but I think that's a good fight. That's what we need to see more of from TDK Amethyst. They're able to... This is what you talked about before as well. The Stand United goes on to Falcon to make sure that the Misfortune is at a high health bar, able to put out the DPS, and they're able to come out on top of the fight there and avoid giving over any more kills.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I have to make a PSA to all Shen players out there. Hello, Shen players. Hello. Can we talk? Can I call you Shen? Hey, Shen. How you doing? Buy a redemption, please. Just do it. I know it doesn't seem like a good item for a top laner to build, but trust me, it's like the best item to build if you're on Shen, because it just makes your shield gigantic and you don't need to like scale any sort of like other items. Just like the 15% like additional shielding and healing is insane, and it really makes your shield gigantic. So if you could just do that, your AD carry will love you. I'm just saying.
Well, you know how much top laners like to listen to their AD carries, Shinkari. So I don't know how well that PSA is going to work out for you, but definitely appreciate the note on build pathing. Gonna be Thornmail completed second though for One Finger Smash, so maybe that'll help in the 1v1 against this Kennen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the Thornmail isn't bad here. I mean, even if it doesn't really give them the magic resist in order to live through Kennen, the big thing is that the taunt is going to put a lot of grievous wounds on them as now. Oh, no. They've got a Death Brush going. The Senna's going to be in some trouble here as Asselrawl here is in some trouble. They're going to be taunted up, get that grievous wounds. That's going to be the hostile takeover coming across as Mousetrap is caught inside that. Now that's going to be the Stand United onto Falcon, but it's going to be too little too late as they're immediately bursted down. 2 members, or just 1 member of the enemy team down. They're taking this as the go button for Baron.
Yeah, when it's Falcon that goes down, there's not much that can be done to contest. It looks like they do want to walk up towards this one, so we'll see if they can find a way in. See if they can find a way to get the kills. Look at all of the ultimates on cooldown. Maybe they can find a fight.
Yeah, I mean, they do have that Slicing Maelstrom now on Simba, and that's a really big ultimate for them, especially considering how much AP they've built here. Young Broke Boy still has some damage to their name as well, so it's not anything to sneeze at. So it looks like it's enough to scare them off the Baron for now. But it is something to take a note of because they are still pretty far behind. Not quite sure where to go from here.
Well, with about a minute before the next Drake, it looks like the gold lead has started to decrease, and TDK Amethyst are looking to get in position to take the next fight. Let's do a quick soul check to get the update there. 76, so getting close to that 80 range increase. And Young Broke Boy going to start being a pretty strong force in this late game pretty soon, I think.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that Young Broke Boy is also going to set them pretty far ahead. Is they're about to finish that Muramana, right? It's not going into a Man Immune when that's finished, right? That's going to be a Muramana, and with this 50 bonus gold as well, it means that they're getting closer into this match. I want to check actually really quick the amount of gold that Senna has. Going to be sitting at 967, so not enough for the Muramana just yet. But once that is finished, that's a whole lot of damage for Senna as well. And typically we see Kraken Slayer as the mythic item, but honestly, you could go for almost whatever because the enemy team isn't building a whole lot of armor, so you probably could still do a more lethality build with like an Eclipse.
Yeah, I would expect probably an Eclipse here, especially when you've got Kraken Slayer on your Misfortune. You don't need to be the one doing all the damage. You could even go Shirelia's, but that would be a little bit strange.
Yeah, we do have the fight starting out right here as one Finger Smash is pulled in. Senna ultimate coming across. That's going to be the lights being turned out. They're diving on top of Silas here, who's separated from the team, looking for the flank, but isn't going to follow through. Goes golden by himself, just a little bit more time, flashes away, but is chased by Galio, finally picks up the kill. Hostile takeover comes across the team here. Bullet time does a whole bunch of damage. They might be able to turn this around if they find the damage. iTunes can take it incredibly low here, but Falcon is finally exposed, and he's going to go down for the double kill for the Galio here. Mousetrap looking in a little bit of trouble. He's going to go down for the triple kill now. Young Broke Boy has to 1v1 Tucky Thick. Might have the damage to do so, but is running for their life, trying to win through this as best they can. Yeah, they're not going to go down. No ace this time, but it is 4 for nothing, and they put themselves on soul point.
Yeah, Simba trying to find the flank there, but ends up just getting 5v1, taken down pretty quickly. The Zonia is only able to delay the death, and there was a ton of damage coming out in the bullet time, but wasn't able to take any kills down, so the 4 for 0 should lead to the Baron in addition to that Drake.
Yeah, and this is such a good point for them to be because they have a good team to take a lot of these turrets. They don't have as good sieging power. They don't really have a lot of long range abilities. But the second they get any sort of like window to attack a turret, a lot of these champions do a whole bunch of damage. Especially Galio with his passive, and Aphelios and Nocturne with how much attack speed the two of them have. So keep your eyes on these turret HPs because they're going to be going down pretty quickly if even an inch is given to the red team. Simba, oh no. Simba might be caught out here. Throws out the Everfrost. They're safe.
Living dangerously, Simba is there. Able to escape. Silas, not the most slippery champ, but definitely not too shabby when it comes to trying to escape, especially with that Everfrost to help buy some space. But now they have to find a way to contest on this midway.
Yeah, iTunes here. Oh my god, that's so much damage onto Young Broke Boy there. I think they got hit by like only a few abilities. They got taken down there. I didn't want to say, Simba, did you learn nothing from Mufasa? It was everything the light touches is your kingdom. Don't go to the dark, shadowy place. And by that, I mean, your team needs some more wards if you want to go and do that, okay? I admire the gumption. Admire the go-get-em attitude by going to try to take the raids. But I don't think you have, I don't think you've got the vision in order to make that kind of play.
Yeah, you're gonna run into some hyenas down there probably, but whatever the case, they're able to stop the push, but they're up against the death rush.
Yeah, Mousetrap here going to be taunted out here. That's a good bullet time, but dove on by Nocturne there. That's going to be the Stand United in order to keep them alive for just a little bit longer. But a US jungler has disrupted this whole team fight here. They're able to find one kill, but can they find more? Because the rest of the red team has collapsed onto them. It's 2 for 1 so far. And man, this team fight is just falling apart.
Well, they're able to only lose 2 for the price of 1, but now they got to deal with another minion wave. They're going to have to give this tower. Young Broke Boy had to run all the way to top lane to avoid dying, and now they're going to have to find a way to push out before they can get to the Nexus towers.
Yeah, I mean, this is, it's going to be really tough from this position here. We're looking at an 8,000 gold difference between these two teams, and now it's just getting to the point where it's like, we're getting close to that. We need that comedy of errors in order to get back into this game here. Like, and it's also upsetting because there's like not an easy objective bounty to kind of pick up right now. Like the easiest one is that top lane outer turret, if anything, but that's still just like you'd have to like run up there because this map really isn't yours, especially on that part of the map as well. Like you're already venturing so far out from your own little safety net in order to do that you are risking a whole lot just to pick up, what is it, 300 gold?
Yeah, but I think that for UQTR, what they need to do is use this pressure that they will have with the super minions going in the mid lane to pick up this soul Drake that's coming up in a minute and 30 seconds. If they don't do that, they are getting outscaled eventually, so they need to find a way to finish this game off, find a way to make sure that they don't allow any road back in for the side of TDK Amethyst.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is that Senna has finished that Muramana here, but I'm worried that it's too little too late, right? Because we're looking at 31 minutes into the game. This item is usually completed like a lot sooner for like a lot of the champions that build Muramana, and Senna is going to be on a support salary, so she's really looking to get those souls for a lot of the stats that she's like missing out on here. So it might be better now with all the waves pushing into their base, but now, it's just really tough in order to find these wins here. They're really gonna have to fight that Drake in 30 seconds. And I don't think it's gonna be in their favor. They're down 9,000 gold.
Well, fortunately, you can just walk out onto the map and take out vision just like that. And that will help finding a way to walk up towards this Drake. See if Mousetrap can maybe find a steal here, or at least get a potential pick before this fight. It looks like contesting is the call that we're going to get from Team Death Knight. And I think that they're starting it up. I'm not so sure about this call. Kennan's just coming out of base now, though.
Yeah, he's teleporting down to the bottom lane. If they want this Drake, they have to finish it soon. US jungler does have that paranoia available, and he pops it way too late. They're able to secure the Drake and get themselves an objective bounty, but now here comes the fight. Senna's going to be taken down. The heroic entrance is coming through, going to knock up the entire rest of the enemy team. They're going to be able to find the kill on the
Falcon's
Nocturne here.
still got a
Standing
big
Knight is coming
shield.
back on a Falcon here. They might be able to turn this around. Here comes a big bullet time. So much damage onto the red team here. They're taking incredibly low. Falcon's able to find another kill here, but he's low himself. Looking for iTunes, not going to be able to find that kill either. Oh, so close, but no cigar. The red team picks up the win, even though they lost the Drake, and now they're winning the game.
Yeah, and that is the punishment for losing that fight. As you said, these turrets get absolutely shredded, and it looks like we're going to get a game number 3 as UQTR Academy are able to come away with the win here in game number 2.
Yeah, and that was a really good game by UQTR there. They were able they didn't concede the early game, and I think that's the biggest thing, is that they were more aggressive with fighting these neutral objectives in the early game, and being just a little bit better of securing that kind of mid game, or that mid lane object that mid lane prio, in order to get those objectives on the top and bottom half.
Well, going into game 3, it'll be interesting to see if TDK Amethyst want to switch up the strategies. It looked like they were in a good position early on in this one, but once UQTR got the lead, then they were able to push their advantage. It wasn't 100% clean, but they did keep their advantage all the way through once they got it. So good job there by them, and I liked the adjustments that they made from game 1 to game 2.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot of good bands and picks that they were able to lock in this time round in order to secure, diving on to Misfortune on that back line. They're going to put all their eggs into the Misfortune basket. Nocturne is here in order to disrupt these team fights every single time. So who knows? We might see that ban come through in game number 3 for TDKA. But for right now, we're going to take just a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 3 of UQTRA versus TDKA. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Style Esports Season 13. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Tiger58, and here we are in Picks and Bans, game number 3 of Team Death Knight Amethyst versus UQTR Academy. We are ready to get this game underway. It's game number 3, everybody. It all comes down to this. After Team Death Knight Amethyst got a convincing game number 1 win, it seems like we flipped the switch over and we got UQTR countering their strategies in picks and bans, and then contesting them at every single neutral objective throughout the game, stopping them from scaling their Senna, up their misfortune, and making sure that they could close out the game as soon as possible. But now, here we are, game number 3, and we're ready to get this slobber knocker underway. Tiger, you ready?
Yeah, and looks like the response here going to be banning out that Nocturne for TDK Amethyst. I think that the Nocturne pick definitely helped synergize with all the picks that UQTR were looking towards in that game. Having the Cannon be able to get on the flank with the Slicing Maelstrom, always important, and then being able to follow up with the Galio is definitely something the Nocturne appreciates having. But apparently, the Misfortune priority going to drop as the Galio first pick is what TDK want to go towards this time around.
Yeah, we've seen a whole lot of big AoE ultimates. You know, we have the Amumu for UQTR Academy here, and I think TDKA needs to lock in the Misfortune in order to make sure that UQTR doesn't get it, because I feel like they're already kind of like moving in that direction. They have the 2 big ultimates that line up with Misfortune. It's just whether or not TDKA wants to draft it again, but it looks like they're hovering the Zaya, which means we might see that. Maybe a Rakan to follow up. Who knows? But 3 seconds left on the hover. That's the lock-in.
Yeah, so Zaya going to be the call this time around. I thought that Falcon has looked good on the Misfortune so far, but switching it up, Zaya may be more of the late game carry style. Clearly, they're looking to make their team fights even stronger than before by adding the Ornn into the fold.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting here that UQTR Academy here doesn't lock in the Misfortune, because this is like the perfect Misfortune comp that they've drafted here. And okay, yeah, they're gonna ban away the Samira here as well. I honestly think this is a real clear Misfortune ban here, and I feel like it'd be weird if they didn't ban it.
Yeah, unless they have some sort of idea that I am not thinking of, where maybe they think that they can interrupt the bullet time channel consistently with some specific support pick, like that Rakan maybe. But I think that it's so difficult to have that happen when you're up against so much CC, like a Mumu Kennen trying to go in and set things up. Even Silas has a bunch of good ults to steal, so it will be the Misfortune ban.
Yeah. So here we go. We got the Misfortune and the Samira ban. So that means that's a couple 80 carries that can't quite take as good advantage. Excuse me. There's a couple 80 carries that take very good advantage of that big AoE that UQTR Academy here have drafted. Let's see what kind of 80 carry they're looking to draft here. I mean, the Aphelios was still really good in the previous game. Not as good with the Amumu, but still pretty strong here. All right, we're going to lock in the Kaisa. I actually think Kaisa is another good pick with this team as well.
Yeah, Kaisa adds another element to it because now they're looking to dive into backlines. They're trying to go straight past this Ornn Galio that are so menacing and trying to get onto the Zaya. I want to see some disengage here with the support pick. Something like an Alistar would make some sense to me. Rakan can do it all right, and Rakan and Zaya kind of go together pretty well, but I definitely think that we need to see something that can get the Kaisa off of the back line.
Yeah, I mean, here we go. I mean, Lilia is at least a good start. I think the Galio would be as well. Um, Depends on how far forward they are, but I think Orange should be able to do the trick as well. But Set, definitely another good option here. And I think the good thing about these kind of lock-ins here is that we still don't quite know who the support for TDKA is, because I think you mentioned before Galio can be a support and Set can be as well. So it'll be interesting to see who goes where. Do you have a particular preference about whether Galio goes mid or support?
Yeah, I'd much rather see the set go to support here. I think that Galio into Silas is a matchup that we saw last game. It's kind of bizarre that we're seeing it again here because picking the Silas into Galio didn't actually work out very well for Team Death Knight Amethyst. But UQTR Academy still feeling like that's a matchup that they want to go towards. Have some good ultimates to steal. The Akshan last pick here, I'm trying to figure out where that could possibly go. I guess that maybe some Akshan jungle or Silas jungle.
Ooh.
Silas jungle, I guess, has to be it, right?
I mean, I guess that is the next best thing, right? Because I feel like unless this is like a Mumu jungle, which I'd be hard pressed to say that be the case. Um, I think I think there is some sort of like case for Akshan jungle here, but I'm not quite sure because it doesn't seem like any of these folks in their match histories play Akshan. So it could honestly go anywhere. And maybe it is going mid lane and Silas is going into the jungle here, which gives a positive matchup against the Galio, because Galio doesn't really do well into 80 matchups, especially ones that do a good job of kiting away his taunts.
Yeah, I think that that's the matchup I would want to see if I was in UQTR Academy. They've been sticking around with this Kennen pick all 3 games, so I'm gonna have to see if they can replicate some of the success from last time around. Into an Ornn, it's not going to be so easy to look for solo kills as maybe it is into the Shen. But I'm expecting to see them play around it since they seem to be consistent in wanting to pick that in the first rotation on red side.
Yeah, for sure. Is now we'll start to see where these folks are going. Okay, we're getting Kennen into the top lane. That's what we expected. EUS jungler, what are we doing here? Silas. Okay, we're getting the Silas jungle, which means we're getting Akshan mid, Amumu, and Kaisa in the bot lane. Lilia is going to be the jungler for Team Death Knight Amethyst. Let's see what the mid lane is going to be. Set. All right.
Set, I guess that with the Akshan last pick, Set going into the mid lane makes a little more sense because Galio is not going to feel so great in that matchup. I don't think Set's going to feel great in it either, but maybe it has a little bit more room to counterplay as opposed to picking that Galio.
So I go.
But anyways, I think that with the Galio moving to support, there is a sufficient amount of peel going on for Falcon this game, but it is the 1 damage comp. I mean, Lilia can do some damage as well, but when you're in a team fight scenario, you're really just looking at Falcon to do the work on this Xayah. So we'll see if this is a situation that's more like game 1 where he's untouchable, or if it's more like game 2 where they can get onto him and eliminate the threat, and then the rest of the team just doesn't have any damage left.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is really a big deal for that, right? I think you're right that once again the Team Death Knight Amethyst has kind of drafted a comp where the only real damage source here is Falcon on the Xayah here. While you're right, Lilia can do damage and Set can do damage, right? They're not going to be the main sources they're not going to do as much as Xayah will, because they're mostly going to be building like this half damage, half HP kind of builds, right? We're looking at, Death's Dance. We're looking at Stride Breakers in some cases, the Demonic Embrace, the Leandri's Torment, right? These are all damage items, but they're not like full damage like an Infinity Edge or a Kraken Slayer or something of that kind.
Yeah, I think that on the other side, we gotta keep in mind that with the late Akshan pick, is once again a single engage here. I should say there's 2 forms of engage, but there's only 1 frontliner on the side of UQTR Academy. They're looking at just trying to find the plays on their terms, and they are a team where they need to be ahead, and if they are ahead, then they're going to feel really good, but if they're behind, it could be difficult for them to get back into the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've seen both these teams try to play from behind in both scenarios, right? And it seems like both these teams aren't exactly comfortable in that kind of position here. I think UQTR had a little bit of a better time playing from behind, in my opinion, but it also seemed but Team Death Knight Amethyst might have played just a little bit worse from behind when it came to that sort of play there. So, we'll have to see. I think you're right that like both these teams, like it might just end up coming down to this early game here because a lot of times like these leads that they got in the early game kind of snowballed out of control and gave them a lead that they were able to carry into the end of the game.
Yeah, so we'll have to see who's going to be able to get the advantage here. It's felt like all the way through, whichever team gets the early advantage is able to convert it to a victory. But maybe this is the time where that won't be the case. But we'll just have to see.
Yeah, for sure. We are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of TDK Team Death Knight Amethyst versus UQTR Academy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Style Esports. My name is Shinkari. I'm here joined by Tiger58, and here we are on the Rift, game number 3 of Team Death Knight Amethyst versus Esports Caps, UQTR Academy. As now we're getting a bit of an invade here from UQTRA as they are on the red side. TDKA on the blue. We're ready to get this game 3 underway. Tiger, you excited?
Yeah, and one thing that's kind of been interesting to me throughout this series is that both sides have been comfortable staying on whichever side they were in the previous game. It's been blue side all the way through for TDK Amethyst. It's been red side all the way through for UQTR Academy. And I think that speaks to how these teams have a little bit of a different view of how the draft goes. And I like seeing the contest there and then seeing whose idea is going to come out on top.
Yeah, for sure. As now this is looking to this is a real close this has been a real close game back and forth for sure. But you know, a lot of these games have come down to these first early leads here. So we'll have to see is wow, okay. Blue buff just disappearing from the spectator for a moment there. Gotta love spectate climb bugs. But yeah, this is a real important match here, and these first minutes here are going to be important to the momentum of the rest of the game.
I don't think that was actually a bug. I think that no one had vision of it, and it doesn't show the spots on the map where no one has
Oh,
vision
okay.
from either team. So
Oh, okay.
all good there though. And looking at the runes and summoner spells, we got Ignite mid lane for our iTunes. Not one to take much in the way of teleports, and looking to dominate here on this auction.
Yeah, for sure is now, you know, like we said, okay, level 2 here for Benius here going and diving in on the Galio, but has to be careful. They do have those defensive options available. It's not really going to get the burst that they were hoping for.
Yeah, and once level 2 hits for Young Broke Boy, it's going to have to be very selective from Benius on which of those you go in for, because you can just get Justice Punch taunted on the back end of them, and then that's going to allow a ton of auto attacks to come out from the combination of the two bottom laners of TDK. So going to have to be careful there.
Yeah, they're already going to get the Justice Punch and Taunt combo on to Benius here. Tries to use the Bandage Toss in order to get back in, but takes a bunch of damage in response there. So continuing to scuffle in this bot lane here. We might see First Blood down there this time.
Yeah, at least getting some trades off. Mousetrap in the area, though, going to look to set up a gank.
Yeah, that's a real good taunt on Benius here. They're diving on a Falcon, forced to flash away, but Benius is in some trouble. They're going to be able to pick up First Blood, but pay the price for it. They're able to return the kill here, but that's going to be misfortune, spending a decent chunk of time away from the lane.
Yeah, and I think that works out okay for both sides. I mean, getting the kill on the enemy AD carry is going to help set up a CS advantage, but giving a kill over to your jungler, especially when it's Lilia, that just speeds up the clear speed so much. Lilia already clears extremely quickly, and going to be looking to get a big CS lead. Not setting anything up just yet, but going to be able to expand it as the game continues, I think.
Yeah, I think having the First Blood on your jungler is probably best in my opinion, because they're able, if they get a gold lead, they're the easiest to have that gold lead spread around to spread around to the rest of the team, right? If they get early leads, then they're able to make sure that the rest of their team gets those early leads as well. So not the real good job for Mousetrap to get that. Here is Falcon once again fighting Benius around their turret here. Mousetrap is in the area, already taking a whole bunch of damage.
Yeah, so I'm looking to see, especially in the matchup against the Silas, I think that the clear from Mousetrap is going to be important. Looking to re-gank in the bot lane, though.
Yeah, coming in through the lane, but I think the ward has spotted them out, so I think they know that Lilia is coming in through the bush there. So it's not going to be as easy of a gank as they might have thought, but maybe if Lilia stays there long enough, they might think that Lilia is back, but looks like the problem now is Young Broke Boy is in some trouble himself. The Bandage Toss is going to land him into the Tri-Brush there, but that's going to be the second Bandage Toss coming across. Young Broke Boy is in some trouble here, forced to back away, but that's a real good route coming out from Falcon, so they're going to be able to get away. Four coming down to the bot lane here, but they're not going to be able to pick up any kills just yet.
Yeah, that's a lot of investment. Still trying to find something, though. Flash out from EW Jungler. Now looking in the 1v1 top.
Yeah, and once again, Asselrawl here doing a good job of making sure that they can stay ahead in the farm. Bullying Ornn as much as possible in the lane is really important to making sure that it takes longer for him to get to those level break points. Remember, Ornn is one of the most important is the character in the game. Is levels is most important for him. As Asselrawl in some trouble here, the bowling ball comes out, but it doesn't quite land. And Mousetrap doesn't really have a good. Oh, never mind. They're just flashing in and picking up the
Oh,
kill.
yeah, just able to land the blooming blows and finish the job. I think that picking up that kill now 2-0-0, picking up the lucidity boots first as well. Gonna be trying to find some more plays around the map.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good for the blue team so far. They've gotten a couple kills under their belt, and they finally tied up that gold ever since losing that first blood and being behind in CS in a lot of these lanes here. So definitely being able to stay in this game is going to be really important, especially with that Galio in the bot lane and with this Ornn up at the top lane. They're really going to need some time in order to hit that true tank status, and also to start passing out those ornaments as well.
Yeah, we saw a lot of Drake Prio in the first two games from both of these teams, but no one making a move towards this Hextech Drake just yet. First Drake still on the map. Rift Herald gonna come up in about a minute, so I wonder if there's gonna be any objective takes happening anytime soon, or if it's just gonna be farm for the next little while.
Yeah. I mean, it might be, right? I think, if anything, I think Tucky, Thick, and Benius are the most likely to start a fight down there relatively soon. As Tunes, gets pulled out of the grappling hook there, but that's going to be the showstopper, pulling him a little bit closer here. Might look for a little bit more damage, was also tanking up the minions as well. Use that grit shield in order to get a big haymaker, but not going to be able to find the damage or finish them off there. So that's a teleport and an ultimate down for Simba in the mid lane.
Yeah, just trying to use it to trade. I don't think that there's a whole lot of things that you can do other than trade with that showstopper in lane, especially against an Akshan. But gonna be just fine doing that. Make sure not to drop too low in the lane. And with that first reset, getting the tier 2 boots, getting the plated steel caps, definitely going to help the matchup feel a little bit less oppressive.
Yeah, for sure. Is now you take stock of where we're at 8 minutes into this game. No dragons have been secured just yet, but it looks like the red team might be looking to grab their first right here. As and the blue team is ahead by only 400 gold, and seems to be keep going back and forth with that regard. So nothing to write home about just yet, but this is going to be a real clean, real easy first Drake going over to UQTA here.
Yeah, they were there first. They have the level 6s on their important carries. So fine there to just pick that one up, and we'll see if they can continue stacking those up as the game continues.
Once again, this is a Hextech Drake. The next one is an Infernal, so that means we have either Cloud, Ocean, or Mountain as the souls of this map. As Tucky Thick is in some trouble here. There's a whole lot of damage onto them already, but they can't go underneath the turret just yet, so they're going to have to back away and then be careful some more, because Silas and Amuma are making their way down from the river here.
Yeah, we'll see if a fight breaks out there. Playing it a little bit defensively here is this side of TDK Amethyst, making sure not to give over any kills there. And it's been a really quiet early game. I've been waiting a while to see some fights break out. Still not pulling the trigger just yet, so we'll see if UQTR actually goes for this play.
Yeah, I mean, they do have to be careful, right? I mean, I think it has to be US Jungler that starts off that fight there, but they took maybe just a little bit too long sitting in that bush, waiting for the perfect engage in order to get in there. And now Falcon is level 6, which means they have a decent chunk of dodging a lot of CC and damage here. Now Asselrawl in some trouble here. Pops the Slicing Maelstrom, but here comes the Ornhorn. R1, R2, going to knock him into the air. So it's a root into the bot lane here. We're getting pulled down here as Amuma goes down. Tucky Thick is not going to be the next target. Set is going to be the one picking up the kill in the top lane there. Tucky Thick taking real low, but can't quite find the last bit of damage that they need. But here comes iTunes in from the side, looking for the kill on Delilia in order to revive their teammate here. Can't quite find it. The taunt comes through, but it's not going to land on anyone. Justice Punch as well. Exhaust forcing the flash as Falcon now looking for something for themselves, but iTunes finally able to get away. It's a 1-for-0 down the bot lane, 1-for-0 up on the top, 2-for-0 across the net.
Yeah, I think that that's a fortunate result that it didn't go any worse for UQTR. Nice roam out from Simba, able to secure that kill in the top side. And in the bottom lane, there's just a big brawl being set up. So going to be advantageous. The gold lead starting to expand here a little bit for TDK Amethyst.
Yeah, now Simba in a whole lot of trouble here. The grand entrance coming in from stolen from Silas here. So now they're not able to get that kill, but a whole lot of damage was thrown onto the set here. Ignite was used by iTunes and had to use that flash earlier as well. So a lot of tools down for the red team here in the mid and in the bot lane.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we'll see the Rift Herald get started up here by Mousetrap. I think TDK would like to expand that gold lead even further, so picking up the Rift Herald would be a good way to do it. Looks like they're going to make that attempt, and we'll see where they want to put that one down.
Yeah, Young Brokeboy getting a decent chunk of burst damage on Amethyst here. Now here comes Falcon here, but is inside the Curse of the Sad Mummy, and now they're in some trouble as Tummy Thick is coming in here trying to get that last bit of damage. Okay, the recall is going to be able to grab that damage onto Amumu here as they pick up the 1 for 0. The US Jungler comes in with a steal onto the Rift Herald here, and now the fight stubs. Acelral does not have that Slicing Maelstrom available just quite yet. They need to do it. Okay, it finally comes off at the end of that, spamming that R button, but it's finally put to sleep. Now let's see if they're able to follow through. Good pulling in with the face breaker there, as now they're looking for iTunes here, but Simba has to get real close in order to do it. Blast Cone over the wall here gets them to safety. They're only able to find 1 kill at the end of that.
Yeah, and a good play on the bot side at the beginning of that fight. Tucky Thick now 2-0-1 on the Kaisa. Feeling pretty strong. Going to be able to complete first item on the recall. I think it's going to be Gale Force. It could be honestly any of the 3 Noon Quiver items. I could see Immortal Shield Bow. Kraken Slayer could be good as well. Maybe it will be Immortal Shield Bow when you expect to get a Kraken Slayer on your Akshan. So that's going to be... Whatever the case, they've got a lot of DPS available to them with 2 ADCs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is going to be a real noticeable factor as we get into this late game. I mean, if you have 2 AD carries, it doesn't matter what the 2 AD carries are. You're just going to have a lot better consistent damage later into the game. And sometimes when you if your burst damage is able to get countered, having those multiple burst windows having multiple consistent damage sources is very good later into the game. As iTunes in some trouble here, that's going to be the showstopper, pulling them away from Mousetrap here, but going to be able to still pick up the kill. Here's Young Broke Boy still trying to keep Benius within his sights here, but shouldn't chase more than this. They got Kaisa coming up from here. They might have bitten off a little bit more than they can chew, and now they got to get out of here. Here's going to be the taunt coming through. Benius is now trapped. Falcon coming through, trying to do out the damage, but he's going to go down. Tucky Thick is going to be the one picking up the kill here. The other's going to be the bowling ball coming through. That's going to be the showstopper coming through. They're going to knock them outside the Curse of the Sad Mummy here as Mousetrap now trying to deal as much as they can in order to stay in this fight. They might be able to get this triumph here, but US Jungler comes out huge. It's now Simba looking to clean up this fight here. They've already lost so many members of the blue team here, but they need to find Tucky Thick. They got to find something. Okay, one finger smash is going to be able to find that kill there. The dragon is still available, but they don't have eyes on EUS Jungler just quite yet, so they're not going to go for it.
Yeah, and another good fight coming down there. Both sides getting some. I think that it was a 3 for 2 all in all, so UQTR definitely going to be feeling good about that one. And maybe we'll see another play as the teleport coming in, looking for the Drake potentially.
Yeah, let's see what they're looking for here. Is this this continues to look a little bit favored for the red team here, even though the blue team is ahead in gold. It's really not that much to write home about, but the red team has been playing this so incredibly well here, and we've only seen a whole lot of trickling in from the blue team here. Is now starting to get this this dragon started up. Don't have the jungler on it, so it could be stolen away if Lillian doesn't decide to show up. And okay, well, Silas is on the top half of the map, so it doesn't matter, but they are going to lose a whole lot of that top half of the map there. All right.
Yeah, that'll be 2 charges probably from the Rift Herald just to get that Drake. And if you look at the builds, it's Riftmaker Lilia, so this is even more of a single damage comp than I was expecting. I thought we'd get at least a Leandries, but no, there's no Sword Shoes, no Leandries. Mousetrap's still in a pretty strong spot, but not going to be able to be that late game damage dealer like I would have expected on a more AP Leandries build.
Yeah, it means that Mousetrap is going to spend a little bit more time in this, going to be a little bit tankier here, as now the blue team is just trying to get away. That's a bandage toss onto Young Broke Boy here, and now Falcon can't do a whole lot in order to save his teammate. That's going to be Galio going down to the bottom lane there. As yeah, it's not exactly the most advantageous spot for them to be right now.
Well, with another kill going over to Tucky Thick, this is an opportunity to get the Kaisa carry. It's got to feel good. And now looking for another one on the dive, potentially.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Benius, I think, had a good bandage toss there, but didn't really want to dive on it just quite yet. It's weird because iTunes has ultimate. I feel like that could have been a real clean 3v1, but decided not to go for the dive. Seems a little odd, but they were able to get the safe play and still able to pick up the turret anyway, so it's not really the end of the world.
Well, now with the gold just about even, Simba maybe going to get picked here.
Yeah, that's going to be the curse of the sad moment to follow up as well. Everfrost, he's CC'd for so long. That Grit Shield is going to keep him alive for a little bit, though. Here comes Comeuppance. Going to be blocked up by Mousetrap there. Does do that missing health damage, so it doesn't do a whole lot to that Lilia. Is Young Broke Boy looking for the re-engage here. Is One Finger Smash coming in as well. Don't really have it as clean as an engage as they'd like.
Yeah, so going to be just about even on that one. Both sides bringing multiple members in the area, but there's nothing really to fight over, and these teams have shown that they're not particularly keen on having a lot of fights. I mean, they're a little under a death per minute across the whole game, but I think that when you're talking about amateur, that's a pretty low count.
Yeah. I do wanna make a called shot. I don't think I like One Finger Smash on Ornn. And I think it's just because I think this team likes it when they're able to roam around the map and support the rest of their team, right? And Ornn is a team fighter, but Ornn is a champion that needs to spend more time in the top lane in order to just, you know, just get those levels and be able to pass out the ornaments. And we've seen One Finger Smash just kind of roam around a whole lot, and he's still level 11 here, and I feel like he could have been higher if he had stayed in that lane just a little bit longer here. Simba looking to fight iTunes, takes him out of the the grappling hook there. He's not going to be able to follow through anymore.
I would say that's a pretty bold claim, considering that One Finger Smash is currently 2-0-2 on the Ornn, has a CS advantage over a Kennen, and is looking to be one of the strongest members on the map right now for TDK.
Sure, but he has more CS. He has the 2-0-2, but he's still pretty close in terms of XP to the Kennen right now. I feel like if he had stayed up in the top lane a little bit, it's just because, like, it's so important for this Ornn to have the levels, to have the XP. And now he's making his way mid lane. He's not going back into the top lane. Like, he needs that level 13, that level 14 in order to start passing out those ornaments. And now here he goes, he's defending mid. And now, Mousetrap, getting Curse of the Sad Mummy, immediately deleted there. Slicing Maelstrom going to be used as well to take Ornn out of the fight as they get a clean dash in from Shelly as well. This tier 2 is not long for this world as well. This is going to be a whole lot of damage to these blue team structures here.
Yeah, very nice execution on the dive there from UQTR. They're finding spots where they can just get in skirmishes in numbers advantages, 4-on-2 there. Even with the tower there, not a big deal. They're able to get a nice Curse of the Sad Mummy, and they've just got too much damage to allow that to happen. So gonna have to be a little bit tighter play here for the rest of the game from TDK Amethyst if they want to avoid giving up any more picks like that.
Yeah, as now, once again, we're taking stock. We're looking at about 20 minutes into this game. Both these teams tied up in Dragons. 2,000 gold in the lead is UQTR Academy here, as they are doing a real good job of, once again, they're not letting Team Death Knight Amethyst have all of the neutral objectives, and that's kind of what their big downfall was in game number 1. And they're also handling these ultimates, these fights really, really well as well here. One Finger Smash just a little bit too far, is being the front line for their team here. Has Young Broke Boy there for the assist, as Benius is still looking for someone to bandage toss onto, but I think they might have found Alistros here, as here comes the Orange Horn from Silas here, but they're able to find the kill on the Kennen here, and here comes the Orange Horn from Ornn here. Good R2 is going to knock 2 people into the air. Featherfly is going to find damage, but it is going to not put a Mumu out, be able to get a Mumu outside of going golden there. Comeuppance comes across, but doesn't find the kill on anyone. You know, I2's now running for his life, taken incredibly low, but not going to be able to be finished off. Zaya's going to be able to find that kill. Mousetrap looking for the kill. They're flashing over the wall. They're looking for iTunes. He's going to go down. The dot ticking from Lily is going to be the one picking up the kill there.
Yeah, and we can see now that in the pure 5v5, it's a great situation to be TDK's comp. They're able to find the flank, they're able to nullify Alcerol in that fight, force out the Zonias before even Slicing Maelstrom can be brought down. And the 5-for-0 plus the Drake means that now the favor has flipped over to TDK Amethyst.
Yeah, as now we're now, once again, I think the gold has once again swung into the blue team's favor here by picking up this Ocean Drake here. And I think this is a really powerful ability for them because, once again, it gives you some healing once you use those ultimates. So it is going to be a big play for them in order to do that, right? There's already a decent chunk of self-healing on their team, right? They have some decent defensives as well. To tack on this Ocean Drake healing as well is going to be very, very strong for them.
Yeah, so now with Baron on the map, every fight means more. And the second Drake going over means that TDK Amethyst are about 8 minutes away, about 9 minutes, I should say, from potential soul. Not the earliest soul, but that should give One Finger Smash some time to get some more levels. That's what we want to see, One Finger Smash in the side lane, getting that full XP off of the minions. And going to be able to upgrade some items soon, already picking up the Forge Fire crest on himself.
Yeah, and this really means that we're going to see like a lot of very, very powerful gold leads in addition, right? Because these items are worth about 1,000 gold each in terms of gold value. So this is just an insane amount of stats. You're going to be able to beat people with your wallets at that stage when you see Orange continuing to level up here. And I like the split push here by One Finger Smash on this bot side of the map. It does mean that the more pressure you put on the bot side, the more pressure you take away from Baron. Now there's a taunt onto a Mumu here. The re-entry knocked into the air. He's drowsy. He's asleep. Taken down. That's going to be the heroic entrance coming through from Silas here, and a teleport in from Kennen. This is going to be the fight right here. Here comes the Ornn Horn. Here comes the Slicing Maelstrom. Huge onto the backline here. Goes Golden as well. Ornn is stunned, or Galio rather, is stunned up and taken down, and now Falcon has to deal with the rest of the team here. Simba already dealing so much damage. Tucky Fit goes down. Holy moly, that playmaker damage is so good. As now Asselroll is in some trouble. Falcon's going to be cleaning up that kill here. Now Simba versus Silas going to be able to dash away. Not today, but they pick up 2 for 4, and that is a real big team fight win for them.
Yeah, Falcon swooping in and saving the team fight from above on the Xayah. Many bird-related items going on here and pushing in on the mid lane. This is going to be potentially the base broken. We'll see if the fight can be turned by Venius and EUW jungler.
Oh, uh-oh. He didn't hit the R2. Don't worry about it. No one saw it.
Yeah, definitely not being streamed right now.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
27 viewers.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
By the way, thanks to all of our viewers for watching. Much appreciated. Always good to be speaking to someone instead of no one.
Yeah. Of course, because now young broke boy here going to start off the fight. Good knock up on a EUS jungler here. They don't have a whole lot of ultimates available to them, so they have to be careful here, but they're able to take out Akshan on the top half there, but now they have to run for their life because the EUS jungler low half HP, and that's going to be a good face breaker to pull. Tucky Thick just back into the fight as Mousetrap continues to chase, gets the spin on Venius here, but is looking for better fights. That's going to be heroic entrance in order to get Galio closer to this fight, but Mousetrap is just way too fast, trying to look for more, but can't quite find it. The bowling ball comes out, but doesn't have the ultimate to follow up here, so they're just going to have to deal with that damage. They march their way back to Baron.
Yeah, and now with 3 members down on the enemy team, the only chance that there is for a steal is for UW jungler to get into the pit, but the DPS is going to be pretty good here from Falcon. I think that they should be able to take this uncontested and then move back over towards this Ocean Drake.
Yeah, I mean, this is a real quick 1-2 punch for these neutral objectives here. I mean, you could even make the argument that you could just like have someone go top lane and just make sure you can get a little bit more damage onto this top turret, and just make sure that you have one more lane that you can push a little easier. Zaya gets her Typhoon now. Um, yeah, now the only problem I have with this play is that this reduces the amount of time that you have with Baron, and the red team does have the ability to kind of like stall you out for a little bit here. So it should be a little interesting. 10 seconds until the spawn here, and the blue team is making a beeline for it.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be plenty of time to utilize this Baron buff. They're probably just going to be looking to take one tower approximately in each lane. Maybe they try to push the bot lane all the way in if they decide to go for a 4-1 instead of a 1-3-1. But it looks like the call here from UQTR is to send the bot lane top, try to finish off that tower, get the gold bounty, and try to use that as an avenue to set up some wave clear in their base.
Yeah, I mean this is a really good. I think that's the best thing that they can do at this point. If they know the entire enemy team is on the bottom lane, just picking up that easy pickup on the top lane there gives a whole bunch of gold. I think that's a 400 gold bounty for that. Yeah, 400 gold split amongst their team, so that's about that's like 80 gold between them. So that's still just a decent chunk of gold for your team to keep them in this game here. Because they're still down 4.7 thousand gold, and the enemy team is getting a Baron power play right now.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be giving up this tier 2. Simba's dropping pretty low, though.
Yeah, Simba's in some trouble here. That Haymaker was really strong, but this damage from the enemy team is a lot stronger. 5v1 definitely goes in favor of the folks who are stacked as 5. So gonna be a little bit of an issue. Here's one finger smash. Okay, not gonna go towards Benius here, even though they're by themselves there, but gonna have to back away at that point here. They don't really have another place to go.
Yeah, only 1 minute left on the Baron. We'll see if they can pick up anything else with it, but TDK Amethyst still in pretty strong control of this game now, up about 4,000 gold on Soul Point as well, so they're going to have plenty of opportunities to force fights on favorable terms. And if you are UQTR Academy, they need to get out onto the map, get some vision, and find a good flank angle for Alceral that can't be taken away like we saw in one of the earlier Dragon fights.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean this is really going to be tough here because even though Asaral does so much damage, you know, you have to rely basically on Tucky Pick in order to like close out the fight. But a lot of these times I feel like they're just getting bursted out faster than they can respond to some of this damage here.
Yeah, so we'll see if they can find an angle. They did get a few picks. Those 5-on-1s, those are the good situations that they found themselves in. So maybe they can look to replicate some of that as they continue. But now 2.5 minutes for them to farm up minions to get gold before this fight is going to come for the Ocean Soul.
Yeah, I think once again the Ocean Soul is going to be another big objective for the blue team here. Is going to make sure that they can continue to siege down these turrets, walk away, and heal back up before being able to go back in. Right? They don't need to back all the way. They can just like sit there and just watch these HP bars fully repair. I mean, Simba out of combat has got to have like a kabillion HP regeneration at this point.
Yeah, for sure going to be able to get back up to full health with relative ease. And despite the lack of enchanters, we've had a lot of healing in today's matches. I mean, from the Silas, from the Set. I mean, a lot of champions that can get back to full HP pretty easily. And I like Simba's build for side laning. Has the Tiamat now complete, has the Blade of the Ruined King, should be able to push out. Didn't do a whole lot of that with the Baron buff, but I think that that's still a distinct possibility in addition to joining up with the team here.
Yeah, for sure. Is now a lot of the map has been cracked open for the blue team here. It's looking almost even on both sides actually, with both teams losing 2 turrets, and we're only having 1 tier 2 left on opposite sides of the map here. The top side for the red team and the bot side for the blue. But the big thing is that blue team is just so far ahead in terms of gold. 5.2 thousand gold in the lead. This is such a big lead, and not even mentioning like the 3 ornaments that are on the team already as well, which is about 3,000 gold in addition. About to be 4. There we go. Set now as a Forge Firecrest. Now they're diving on a US jungler here as they find the Justice Punch on a Tucky pick. R1, R2 gets a good knock up here as the crowd favorite there is going to be picking up Benius. Now heroic entrance going to get 2 knockups here. Falcon in some trouble on the back end here, but Tucky picks forced to go golden. Is now taken down, goes golden and taken down. As now Simba has to chase down iTunes and Asselrawl here. One finger smash is there with them as well. Flash forward, doesn't get the knockup, but does get the charge on top of him. Simba's able to pick up that kills. Now iTunes continuing to dash away, but this is big because they're not wasting time. They're immediately onto the base. They do not care that these folks are still alive. Hey, you're gonna have to come and fight us eventually because we're gonna take your base.
Yeah, and they're looking to pick up another kill here. Onto the Nexus towers they go. This has to be the call to fight.
Yeah, the call the Ornhorn comes across here as EUS jungler still looking for something to keep them in the game here. They're the last line of defense here. They go golden after Falcon, looking for the fight underneath the turret here. They're going to be knocked into the air, taken down by Mousetrap here as Comeuppance comes through onto Simba, but can't quite find the kill. They need this resurrection if they want to turn this around. Okay, Kennen has just respawned, but it's too little too late. Falcon, one finger smash, and Mousetrap are going to finish off the Nexus 2-1. Team Death Knight Amethyst take the series.
Yeah, much closer game 3 here, Shinkari, but at the end of the day, Team Death Knight Amethyst able to come away with the victory, and well played in those last fights to be able to utilize that gold advantage and pressure the base to come away with the victory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this was a really, really well played bunch of games by them. Um, but you know, I think this is still. I still think that UQTR Academy still has a lot to take away from this. Like they played this game, I think, still really well. They conceded where they weren't going to win. They took small victories here and there across the map. Like there were a few times where just like Galio was out of position, they were able to come. They were able to contest really well. And I think it was around the time that they were able to get a lot of these wins in their favor. They just chased way too deep. And then in other cases where they were like, "Hey, we're losing the Drake. Let's just pick up this easy objective bounty on this top half of the map as well." So really, really good job by them and I think they did the best of playing from behind out of both these teams in these 3 games.
Yeah, but I think that from the draft here in Game 3, you could definitely tell that TDK Amethyst were looking to set up a better team fight for themselves after they struggled some of that in Game 2. And it really worked out in their favor as they were able to provide enough peel for Falcon. Mousetrap was doing a ton of work as well. 10-3 and 10 on the Lilia. That damage was for real. I can't anymore say that this is a single damage comp because
Yeah.
there was too much value being provided there. But on the whole, they were able to play to their win condition here in Game 3, get those team fights around objectives, get the objectives off the back end of them, and convert them into pushing to win.
Yeah, for sure. And that's going to do it from us here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, press that follow button. We have League of Legends action for you watching nearly every single day, like this game today. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button. It really helps us out and keeps the lights on here at Style Esports. If you want to see more production, if you want to see better production quality than when you see right here, always support your local esports org. But from everyone here at Style Esports, Tiger, my co-caster for this evening, and everyone on the live broadcast crew, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye bye.